I think I passed my first test. I actually got this thing to work. Can you believe it? Welcome, everybody. I'm going to wait till people get on. I am brand new to this whole thing. So we'll wait till some people get on. And yeah, we're going to celebrate 25,000 subscribers tonight. We got a lot going on. I got some things to talk about. Thank you for everybody that put in some of the questions and comments in recent polls, as well as in some of the comments in the videos that I've created. We'll make sure we get to all of them as well today. But yeah, just a forewarning, I am completely new to live streaming. I usually do my videos and edit them and go through the whole ordeal with that, and then I upload them. So yeah, going live is an interesting thing. But anyway, let's get started. Welcome to the Sweet Lifers. This is my first ever live stream going here on YouTube, and I have no clue what the hell I'm actually doing. But, you know, this is going to be fun. You know, I set out a goal here. If you've been with me from the beginning, we did this as a fitness channel long time ago. And this past year, especially with the pandemic and all the crap that was going on in the world, there were a lot of people reaching out for, you know, help in finances and trying to get their life in order. And that's what we decided to do, guys. And we pivoted this channel. And not a lot of times can you pivot a YouTube channel into a completely different topic, but we did. And it's awesome. Just the fact that, you know, when we first pivoted this channel, I think we were right around 13,000 subscribers. And then of course, a couple months, we've are now crossing this 25,000 subscriber threshold. So that's pretty awesome. But tonight, what we're going to talk about is some of the things that you guys wanted to hear. And that is things like the passive income options, side hustles, some more things that you can do to continue to increase your income. We're going to talk about investing strategies, kind of what I'm up to, dividend income. I know people are super hyped about how you can earn money and live off of dividends. Talk a little bit about Webull and Robinhood and all that kind of good stuff. And then some questions on my history on YouTube, and I'll kind of get into that. I know some people have been asking about, hey, can you do like how much you're making on YouTube? And I will definitely get that video up, kind of go over maybe the last month and let you know what's going on with all that. So let's get kicking off, guys. I don't know if you've seen this. I'm going to enjoy a Stella for our $25,000. Yeah, I wish it was $25,000. My 25,000 subscribers. And funny enough, you know, I wanted to plan this as soon as we hit it. And I put a poll up and I said, would you guys want to see this live stream? Again, I have no clue what the hell I'm doing on this, but I hope it's working. Put a comment in the chat box if this is working, just to make sure that I know that I'm not just talking to myself alone on a Friday night. That would be terrible. But anyway, so I wanted to do this thing for 25,000, and then there it is, 25,000. Cheers to everybody out there. Yeah, so I want to do this for 25,000, and then here we go. Hey, what's up? Shaky, it's good to see you again, brother. How you doing, man? What's up, Donnie? I'm glad it's working. So I know I'm not talking to myself. That's a good thing. But yeah, so I wanted to do this, and you know, like what? It's been a couple of days, and now over the 26,000 mark. So I am extremely grateful to all of you. Thank you for all of the support. And this is like a baby channel. I am in no means, I've not been doing this for a long period of time in the grand scheme of things. So there's a lot of things coming out, a lot of things planned. And yeah, so bear with me because, you know, we're going to keep expanding and growing and everything like that. So anyway, I want to answer some of your questions, not only, you know, some of the things that you guys shared in the beginning, but also, you know, things that if you have questions tonight, just drop them in the comment box. We'll make sure that we get to them and kind of go over everything that you want to hear about. My goal tonight is to get like, I said that, you know, I said, okay, I'm going to do this live stream. How many people, because, you know, I've seen other live streams, of course, from other YouTubers. And I thought, okay, you know, as a new channel, as a newer creator, let's see, maybe 40. I want to try to get 40 people watching at one period. And it does tell me up here on the one side, I'm at 18. And that's awesome. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you. And let's see if we can get to 40. And that means I've done my job. Cheers to all of you. And I think I can go to sleep happy. So anyway, now we're up to 20. This is awesome. This is great. So welcome aboard, everybody. I did a poll a week ago and I said, hey, once we hit 25,000, do you want to see a live stream? And there's 462 total votes. And the funny thing is, if you're not a YouTuber, if you don't know about the YouTube algorithm, a lot of times when you do polls on the community tab, YouTube recently has been pushing that out to like thousands of people, even if they've never seen a single video of yours, they don't even know who you are. They'll just push out these polls all over the place. And that's kind of what happened. So I decided, instead of just saying yes or no, I wanted to add a third option. And that third option said, who TF are you? Who the are you? because I wanted to see how many people that saw this poll didn't really know who the heck I was, but they were seeing this poll and they're like, who is this dude? So they obviously opted for that. And here's what's funny. Out of 462 votes, 48% said yes. So that must be all of you awesome people. So thank you very much. 3% said no. So I'm assuming they're not going to watch tonight. I hope they don't. But 49%, remember, 48% said yes. 49% said, who the hell is this guy? So, I thought that was kind of funny. But again, I think that just comes down to the YouTube algorithm. They like to push that stuff out, and polls are like a hot topic these days. So that's what's going on with that. So I want to get down to some of these questions. I have a list, and I keep looking down. The reason for that, I got my notes down below here, and I want to make sure I hit all the questions that I got earlier, as well as anything that you have tonight. Feel free to drop it in the chat box, and we'll make sure we answer that. But anyway, the very first question, we're gonna kick this off. By the way, if you have any drinks, if you're enjoying your nice Friday evening, drop what you're drinking down below. Again, if you're just hopping off, I'm kicking off with some Stella. I don't like drinking out of the can, so I got to pour it into the glass. Just, the can's kind of weird to me, but whatever. Drop it down below. Let me know what you got going on. Anyway, so the first question, which is awesome. This is from Chris Rodriguez. So shout out to you, Chris. Talk about how to start a lifestyle of investing. And this guy wants to be successful in the future, but kind of going from a place where I don't have anything. I don't have any money. How do I get to the next step of actually having money to start investing? And I think that's a great question. And I got to be honest with you, I'm going to kind of start back in my history. For those of you that don't know, I mean, we were massively in debt. And, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, moved down to Florida. And it was a long time ago. I'm not new to Florida, but about 10 years ago. And we were extremely in debt, like credit cards, student loans, all the typical crap that most people deal with. And I think the very first thing to really focus on is just kind of getting yourself out of debt. And I'm not here to be Dave Ramsey or anything like that. I just think that if you can have more power to the money that you make, you're going to be able to invest it into things like dividend paying stocks or something that you're passionate about in the stock market and things like that. I think if you get trapped up into these concerns with debt, and then think about it like a credit card has like a 14.99% interest rate. Could be a little bit lower, could be a lot higher. But if you're paying 14.99% on a credit card and you're putting away your money for investments, you're basically betting that your investment's going to grow by 14% or greater. And sometimes it does, and that's fine. But if you got this like nagging, like ball and chain on the side, which is that credit card debt. And my suggestion is get rid of the damn thing. And that means like finding ways to increase your income. So when it comes down to your big question, Chris, how do you start from nothing? I think that, sure, you can have a job. And, if you do have a job, you're making that kind of money. I've always found struggle in really taking the job income and doing a lot with it. Because every time I look at like a job, the money's the money. It goes toward the bills. Maybe it goes to the debt, but it doesn't seem to be a lot left over after the end of the month or end of the week or whatever your pay rate is. But if you can take this and find ways to make more money, that's kind of what I found to be successful, so I can put it toward investing and dividends and all that kind of good stuff. So that's what I've been focusing on. So, outside of my job, my 9 to 5, I focus a lot on things like old school. Way back in the day, I started with a network marketing company and I started building that up. And I brought in a nice little side income. And what I did with that side income is I threw it toward the debt. First thing was get out of debt. And that's what I was focusing on. All that extra money that's not in the everyday budget was coming in, which is kind of like a bonus or an extra paycheck. Throw it toward the debt. And then once you get out of debt, you can take that and start putting it into the stock market. Doesn't matter what you use. I mean, we talk on this channel a lot about Webull. We talk on this channel about Robinhood. We talk about all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, guys, you got to do what's best for you. When I recommend things, I don't want you to just say, okay, I'm just going to do it. I want you to really think like, what am I as a person like you? Think about yourself. What are you passionate about? What are you excited about? What works best for you? Sometimes people look at something like Webull, which is a brokerage app we talk about on the channel, and you're like, oh, well, I have no clue what I'm doing. It seems a little bit advanced, and I don't like the fact that they don't have fractional shares. Then I wouldn't recommend it. Like, you got to say, okay, I only got like $5 a week, and I want to start investing. Look into something that allows you to do that. It doesn't have to be Robinhood. It doesn't have to be M1 Finance, but just get started with something. So I gotta take a look here at the, okay, we got some Guinness going on. I love Guinness. Bourbon, okay, I love it, love it, love it. Shaking a martini. All right. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. That's great. And I love Donnie. Very good point. Always pay yourself once you get your paycheck. I pay myself $100 a week. That's so important. It's just so much. And by the way, and I'll link it down below maybe after the live stream if I can figure out how to do this. But by the way, I'm not a big reader, but I do love audiobooks. So I got my Audible right here. I'm not fancy enough, by the way, to like screen share yet. I'll learn how to do that. I will improve my audio too, by the way. I will improve all this. My first live stream, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm using my Mac microphone that's built in. So if I sound ridiculous, I'm sorry. It'll all improve as time goes on. But this is my screen sharing for now. I'm going to put up my phone so you can all see it. But this book right here, let me see if I can blow it up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about without. No, don't start the. Okay, there we go. It's called Your Money or Your Life. Now, this book was originally made in 1992. And like I was mentioning before I got sidetracked here, I enjoy audiobooks. It's just much easier for me to enjoy the audiobook versus reading. And so I pop it on in the car, drive to work, and listen to this. But this book in 1992 actually started the FIRE movement. And if you haven't heard about the FIRE movement, it's FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So back in 1992, this book comes out, and it's kind of one of the roots to this FIRE movement. And they just recently did a new one. So this is new. It says updated for 2018. So it's fairly recent. And I think it's worth checking out if you're interested in it. And it goes back to the comment that Donnie put about always pay yourself once you get your paycheck. It talks a lot about your life energy and how much we just chase money. We go to a job and we come home and we just rinse and repeat. And if you're unhappy with that cycle of your life, it really kind of breaks down. And I think it's a very long audiobook. I don't know how big the actual book is, but it breaks down some very good points that make you just say, oh my gosh, I've been wasting my life away, kind of just in a hamster wheel, around and around and around, getting money in and throwing it toward a bunch of dumb crap I don't need. And then I feel like I never have any money. So this book is awesome. Once I get through it, I might throw up a review here on the channel, because I think it would be worth, just kind of talking about this FIRE movement, which, if you can retire early, it's not really about waiting until you're 65 years old to finally retire. It's about finding a way to be financially independent. If we can do that and we're smart with how we're putting our money, we'll live our ultimate sweet life. And that's why I keep talking about sweet life. That's kind of my brand. It always has been. I look, to me, my sweet life is hanging out with my family on a cruise boat. It's killing me that cruises are not online. A lot going on in the world, but someday they will come back. And it's just, I love that whole tropical experience. You're laying back, you don't have a care in the world. You got the ocean around you. You got drinks coming to you if you get the right package, all that kind of good stuff. And so that's my sweet life. And if I can find a way to be comfortable, to be debt-free, to have that money coming in where I don't have to worry about it every single day, that's awesome. That's bliss. So that's what I talk about with all that good stuff. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Paying my debt. And I also started investing 3 months of my profile. Oh yeah, that's awesome. $8,000 portfolio. That's amazing. Thanks everybody for the congratulations. This is awesome. And it's you guys I have to thank. I mean, 25,000. I was not expecting it this quickly. So, and like I said, I just turned around and here we're 26 already. So this is awesome. Just started with Robinhood this week. Would recommend any videos on YouTube for a particular website. So provide the breakdown on ETF. Okay, yes, breakdown on ETFs. There's a couple things I do when it comes down to ETF investments. And this, this isn't going to sound like, this is going to sound very basic. So bear with me, Go to Google. I literally just go to Google and I'll type up whatever I'm looking for. And I'll start with like ETFs that maybe I'm passionate about. Like, for example, I talked about cruises. Are there travel type of ETFs out there? So I'll start with the most basic form of that, travel ETFs. And then look for legitimate websites. Finance.yahoo.com is a good one. You got all these kind of different things. But the reason I like Google so much is it gives you that wide variety just to choose from. And as long as you're looking at places that have some type of authority to them, that's really what I do. And then, of course, if you are new and you just hopped on this live stream, I really also focus on dividend paying ETFs. Those companies, those stocks within the basket of the ETF that tend to pay a dividend. So the next thing I'll do, and this is a really cool way, is if you find a particular ticker symbol that you're interested in, that you may start investing in, go to Google and type in the ticker symbol followed by dividend. And that's all I do. probably the first or second result will be the NASDAQ dividend payout history. I like to look at that to see kind of what their scale is, whether it's monthly or quarterly, and understand kind of what their dividend payout rate is. So I'll also dedicate a future video. In fact, I have a few video topics coming on the ETFs, as well as how to actually integrate them correctly in things like the Robinhood app or Webull or M1 or whichever brokerage app that you're most interested in. So definitely going to be more coming on that. So fear not, fear not. Let me also look. I have a bunch of other questions here. So somebody was asking about credit cards. I talk about credit cards from time to time on the channel too. And this is about credit cards or debit cards. And this person is saying, Comfort Fit, by the way, shout out to you. I heard that you keep some money. If you keep some money on your credit card, month over month, your credit score will actually go up. Is that true? Or can I or should I pay it off every single month and still have a good credit score? Okay. There's no actual research data, even if you look at FICO or Vantage Score, which are the two main metrics that calculate your credit score. There's nothing out there that actually says, hey, you have to keep money on your credit card month over month in order to get a good credit score. It's actually kind of the opposite of that. I've actually, even if it's just $1 that you keep on, the problem with that is if you keep that on until next month, the credit card company turns around and charges you interest on that. And that's not the right kind of game that I like to play. If you haven't seen my video on this, I talk about how I treat my credit card like a debit card. So I have like this transaction register, and if you're not tracking your expenses, I really recommend, I don't have it anymore, but like you can have the old school, like if you're from like the 80s, no offense, but like the old school, like ledger forms that you could fill out what your expenses are as you spend. You could do it that way. I actually have it online, and I have a free Excel document. If you go to that video, you can go check it out. That Excel document is what I use. And anytime I swipe that credit card, I put it into my transaction register. It automatically calculates it and lets me know what my current bank account is. And then, of course, as I get deposits and income, I put that in, and on it goes. Then at the end of the month, I look at it, balance my transaction register in Excel to my credit card statement, and pay off the credit card in full. The reason I like to do that is because the credit cards offer so many awesome rewards. I always talk about this Amex card I got, but I'm getting 6% cash back on groceries. We got a family of 4 here. So think about the grocery bill for that. If I can get 6%, it's like a 6% discount in cashback rewards. Why not? And eventually, you become a traveler, you want to get like airline miles and stuff like that. If you already have it in your budget, if you already have it basically being treated like a debit card or like a checking account, you're not going to run out of the money. You're going to always have that available. You rinse and repeat every single month. And I've been doing that for a couple years now. And I wouldn't worry about, I zero that thing out every single month. And my credit score has always been, 800 plus, except for some tests that I recently did to kind of prove the fact that if you screw around with keeping a high utilization or even money month over month, your credit score can actually go down a little bit because of that metric. So I would recommend, don't worry so much about that. Don't get yourself caught up in interest. That's how the banks make money. And we're about making money ourselves on this channel. So definitely, I would stay away from that. Let's see what else we got going on here. So, oh, you have an IPA going on. Okay, I like that. I like that. By the way, if you just joined, we are celebrating 25,000 subscribers. So I got my Stella going on tonight. So let me take a drink here as I look over these comments. Awesome. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the side incomes and passive income options. Another thing I was asking everybody for, what do you want to hear about? So I mentioned it earlier, but the most important thing that you could do is focus on how do you get money outside of your normal job or outside of whatever means that you already have. Because what you want to try to do is scale up. And scaling up means either paying down debt or investing more money. That's the key to eventually becoming financially independent. So some of the side hustles that I've done some network marketing. That's hard. I'm not going to lie. Network marketing can be a beast. If any of you are in network marketing, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know how that's going. The thing with network marketing is you got to be okay with the fact that you ultimately had to figure out a way to get more people to join you on this whatever you're trying to sell or promote or provide. And then you got to hope that they don't get tired of it and quit, basically. And the problem with that is it's like you're training a high turnover sales department, and it's just that's sticky to me. It's not providing value, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, even though I'm still with a network marketing company, I just don't work it anymore. I just let it passively bring in income at the moment. I just don't like that you had to be slimy and reach out to people and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's one way you could do it. I know I didn't promote that very well, but you could, start up a network marketing company and try to do something like that. You got the Avon, you got the Beachbody, Monet, all that kind of stuff. Another good way that I think is not where you have to think about a bunch of stuff are things like Amazon Flex. I've mentioned this before on a video. And seriously, for real, if you go over here, I'm going to pull this up on my my phone here, because again, I don't have screen share. See that Amazon Flex? It's pulling up. And I think what it's going to tell me here once it loads. I got to log back in. Hold on. So I decided to sign up for this thing, for Amazon Flex. And depending on where you live, it basically allows you to take your personal vehicle and deliver for Amazon. And you can make up to $25 an hour. So, and remember, this is time freedom. I don't like the thing that like, oh, I'm just going to get a part-time job. That wastes your time, because you have to commit to going into work at this time on this day. The thing with Amazon Flex is you can select, it's almost like Uber. You select when you want to do it, how long you want to do it, and what's going on with it. So $25 an hour on your own term, I think that's a great way to scale up some extra money. And that's outside of the whole Uber and DoorDash and things like that. But you can certainly do those as well. And I think that's just a key way to really get some side hustle income going on. And then if it's up to me, I'm going to try to find a way to get passive income off of that. So that is investing in things like those dividend paying stocks and dividend paying ETFs. And the more and more you do that, the more and more you grow that, the more money you can make long term. And really, ultimately, the goal would be outside of your retirement account, outside of your 401k account, if you can really build up like a nice dividend portfolio, and I'm talking some serious money, but think about it, over a long period of time, not only do you have your retirement income as you need it, you're going to have all this extra money coming in monthly or quarterly, depending on how the timing of your dividends are paid out, just for owning shares of this particular stock or ETF. And I think that's what's really cool about dividend income. So mixed up mess. I see that. How are dividends taxed? So I'm not a tax professional, so bear with me as I try to explain this the best I can. So if you make $40,000 a year or less as a single filer in the United States, or you're married filing jointly making $80,000 or less, you don't have to worry about paying taxes on qualified dividends. And that's the key. You got to find out if the dividends you're getting paid are qualified or not. Most brokerages will tell you if they are qualified. I will tell you the REITs, R-E-I-T, are not. The real estate investment dividends are not qualified dividends, so you would owe taxes on those. But in most cases, a qualified dividend is tax-free as long as you don't cross that income threshold. Otherwise, yeah, it's a 36% or something like that. Yeah, something like that. I want to say, don't quote me, 36%, I think it is. It's a higher rate. But I actually want to do a video on that, because I talked a little bit about that on my portfolio update video, and some extra people were asking about taxes. So I think I need to dedicate something to that. And I want to make sure I actually have the correct information, because right now I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But yeah, it's around 36%, if I remember correctly, depending on your income tax rate. Wow, shout out from Jamaica. I love it. It's night where I am now. And by the way, it's I wonder what time it is. Right now it's like 8:24 here on the East Coast of the United States in Florida. It is now officially dark, but that's pretty cool. I wonder what time of night it is in Jamaica. But yeah, shout out to you. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. But anyway, yeah, so that I think is a really important key when it comes down to those taxes. It's an interesting ordeal. And of course, you get a tax form at the end of every year. No matter what brokerage you use, they're going to have that for you to download and plug it into either your accountant or TurboTax or whatever tax software you are using every year. I also want to talk about a little bit about my history on YouTube. A few of you were asking about that. So, again, if you just joined us, celebrating 25,000, and thank you guys so much. There's so much more to come. I mean, seriously, got so much going on. In fact, it's funny, I I know that there's some other YouTubers that have some incredible studios, right? And here I got like this little, I'm just basically in my home office, to be honest with you. And we just quickly kind of found some things and threw them back here. But I got fancy and got some uplights, but I also got this now going on. What this is, it's LED strip lights. So in my future videos, you're going to start seeing some epic stuff coming up. I'm going to put like it going up and down here and up on the wall and all that kind of stuff. And then should provide some more background lighting. I got to find some other cool things to put back here. We'll have to see what's going on with that. But until now, this is what we got going on. And hopefully we can scale this background up at some point. But anyway, so I started out, it was a long time ago, but I started out with a company called Beachbody. And you may have heard of them before because you got P90X, Insanity. Who hasn't heard of workout programs like that? And I'm sure they'd be disappointed I'm sitting here drinking beer. I guess that's against the diet, but we're celebrating 25K, you know? So anyway, I started with that, and YouTube for me was just really a way to promote kind of the fitness workouts and things like that, which was kind of cool. That was fun. And then around 2013 is when I was really kind of posting more consistently on the fitness. But the problem I have, and the problem I've had up until we pivoted the channel here, was the fact that it didn't feel right to me. And if you're a YouTuber out there and you're thinking of starting up a channel, one thing I would recommend is do something that you're passionate about. And don't do something just because somebody else is doing it, or don't do something because you think you have to. And I felt like that's where I was with Beachbody. Just because I was part of that company and I started this YouTube channel, everything I had to put out had to do something with a fitness program that they had. And they weren't telling me to do that. I just thought that, well, if I do a review on something that's not Beachbody, that's fitness related, that might look weird. And I don't know if that would be right. And I don't know. So I'm going to do another P90X video. And I just felt like over and on and on and on and on, I just kept doing the same old videos, and it was getting kind of boring. But all the while, for my whole life, I've been super passionate and super excited about personal finance, you know, anywhere from just the basics of finding a way to do a budget to getting out of debt to building up a significant income and a significant net worth. That is something that gets me excited. And so I decided, you know what, heck with it. I'm done with this. I'm going to pivot this whole channel. And I was actually talking to somebody that, and shout out to vidIQ. I'm going to give them a free shout out because I think that they do an awesome job just kind of helping with, you know, some of the coaching and stuff. And they're like, I can't believe that you're just pivoting. That's such a hard pivot from fitness to finance. I mean, that isn't even related. But I found that I did it. I was much more passionate about it. I actually wanted to do it, and I was much more consistent in YouTube. So a lot of you here today may have found me from my my finance content, and really that just started in September. So it's fairly new, but it's been a super, super awesome time. So I'd be interested, and I know Shaky, shout out to you if you're still on. I know a few of you are some of my original subscribers from my good old days of the fitness videos. So drop a comment if you are, and that's super cool. I hope you're enjoying the new content too. Definitely, if you're wondering, yes, I am still working out. I still do stick with fitness and making sure that I'm eating right and all that kind of good stuff, minus tonight's celebration, of course. But anyway, you know, awesome. Hey, whoa, super chat. All right, Tanner, let's see what we got going on. Cheers to finding a new passion and being flexible to change. Absolutely, yes. Great at fitness, but you could also be great with finance. Continue the great advice and keep moving toward the sweet life. Yes, the sweet life. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much for the shout out. I appreciate that very much. I think that, you know, when it comes down to, you know, finding your passion, you know, all of you out there, I want you to do the same thing. And that is what it's all about. And seriously, I want you to comment anytime on any of my videos on what I can do to help you. And if I got to spend hours of research trying to figure out how to make sure I'm delivering the best content for you guys, that's what I want to do. So if it's like, look, I want to get to what my sweet life is, whatever you define your sweet life as, but I need help with the X, Y, and Z. Let me know. Let's talk about it. You know, specific to finance, of course, you know, but I want to, how do we get to that point? We're all in many different stages of life, right? Like some of us, you know, are still struggling with the damn student loan debt and all that pain. Maybe you got credit card debt. Maybe you're out of debt and you're just trying to figure out, okay, I have extra income, but how do I actually get started in figuring out how to like best put it in a nice, safe place that actually makes sense? That's what we want to get. And then we get to a point where we feel really good about what we're doing. So definitely, okay. Oh, so Shaky found me from the P90X3 unboxing, you know, I think just a couple of weeks ago, I had to take that video down. And I'll tell you why, because that video is very old. And I started realizing there's some content on my channel that does not make any sense anymore. And that's one of them, because like it doesn't exist anymore. You cannot find that anymore, that stuff that was in the unboxing. So I'm like, okay, I got to pull that. I think I pulled that one down. I pulled a bunch of other ones down that, you look back and you're like, ah, this doesn't make sense anymore. I gotta stop. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Trying to put as much money as I can into the portfolio and collect enough dividends to cover my monthly expense. That's awesome. Okay, so far I'm at 300. My goal is 1,000. Is that your portfolio, 300 or 1,000? Or is that your dividend payments per month? If it's your dividend payments per month, whoa, that's awesome. But if it's not in your portfolio, that's still awesome, because, again, I only have, like on Webull, I'll give you guys the latest and greatest here. So on Webull, let me pull it up. Someday I'm going to figure out how to do this on the screen. Again, my first live stream, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is my portfolio. Can you see that? I'm going to try to make sure it actually sees 11,552 is what I got going on right now in Webull. And in the Webull investment app, I focus a lot on the dividend paying stocks. By the way, the reason this portfolio is so high, to be completely transparent with you guys, is because of the side hustle income. I do get some type of kickback when people go over to the Webull link. So I don't spend that money. I actually reinvest it right here on Webull into dividend paying stocks, dividend paying ETFs. So that's why that is sitting at 11,000. But right now, I think I'm around $20 a month in dividend income in this particular brokerage account alone. I got a total of 4 different brokerage accounts that I have in an upcoming video that I'm going to break down exactly where everything is. But the cool thing about Webull is I'm focusing on monthly paying dividend stocks, monthly paying ETFs. And that's what's going on here. Yeah, the last month. So here in the last month, it's I don't know. You won't be able to see that. I'm sorry, but it says $22.30 is what it was in the last 30 days. So that's what I'm focusing on, monthly paying dividend stocks. I want to shout out to trackyourdividends.com. The cool thing about that website is you can go onto it, and I actually use my iPad to plug this in. It's kind of a ritual for me to every couple of, I would say maybe every couple of days or every couple of weeks at the very latest, I will go onto this website. I'm going to pull it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I go onto this website and I update my portfolio value, because obviously I'm buying more stocks or more shares and I want to update. So here it is on Webull. Do you see that? And you can see the portfolio value. I do need to update it because there it says 10,000. As you just heard, it's 11,000 now. And it tells you kind of what your annual dividend payout is. And it tracks it all for free. You don't, I mean, you can always upgrade, but I use the free version of this and it's super awesome. But right now my annual income is $430 based on what I've selected within Webull. So it's a great way to get started with that. It's free, trackyourdividends.com. Shout out to them, because you can just plug all your stuff in there. And then it just gives you a better understanding of what's going on. It also allows you to look at your future value. What's really cool about that is they look at the dividend growth rate on a particular, let me show you what this looks like. So they look at the dividend growth rate. You see that? I hope this stuff actually shows up. I'm sitting here just holding this up and it's all fuzzy. Hopefully it's not, but it's showing what way over there shows is 1,000, I think it's 1,382. And that is in 2030. Okay. So, but if I put 25 years, if I select 25 years, look at what my annual income is. And I understand inflation and all that, but I still think that's pretty cool. If I don't do anything from this point forward at all, based on the typical trend, look at that, $30,828 would be that annual payment. I think that's pretty cool. So it allows you to see what you're investing in and what the future could look like. On top of the fact that you're not just going to fall asleep and not do anything for the next 25 years. You're going to continue to invest. So that will continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's super awesome. So make sure you get yourself over there, because I think it's just worth checking that out. So anyway, let's see here. Hey, shout out to Aaron, new subscriber. You've been super cool in helping me get started in stocks and Bitcoin. Time to invest in myself. Yes, invest in yourself. That is awesome. Does your content research reflect well in your personal trading strategy? Yeah, I'm not a big, like, I get weird when I talk about stuff like, I don't want to come off like I'm bragging or anything like that. So I kind of stay a little bit modest, but overall, my account for Webull, let me see if I can find the exact percentage. This is kind of strange how it is. It's kind of on a delay here. So anyway, it's up about. So it's giving me dollar figures though, so that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to find a percentage. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I am up currently 8.69% in the last 3 months, and that is actually on the same pace of the Dow Jones. If I understood your question correctly. So I think that it all depends. I'm not and I don't want to sound old school or anything like that, but I kind of focus on what I know and what I understand. I don't just jump on what the latest trends are that I hear in the noise of the environment. And you'll find I say that a lot in my videos. I don't like just saying, oh, it looks like this one stock could be cool and it could 10x tomorrow. Because the issue I have with that is, what if it doesn't? And do I actually know what the hell it is? It was some type of dirt moving company. And somebody was like super jacked up about it. They're like, dude, you got to get in on this. This thing is going to go to the moon. It's going to be unbelievable. And it's only trading at $1.50 a share. So imagine if you bought like 100 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever. Get in on this. It's going to be huge. Dirt moving. I don't even know. Like, what does that even mean? Like, honestly, you do your research on a company if you really want to understand it. But I look at the long-term growth of that and I'm like, does that really make sense? And am I going to actually be focused enough on something like that to know if they do something critically stupid? Let's be honest. If the company or the sector or the industry does some dumb thing that sets the entire industry or the entire company ablaze, am I going to be smart enough and plugged in enough to know that, oh, crap, something's going on. I need to pull out? Probably not. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to look at my portfolio and my $100 might be worth like $10 or something like that. And I have a choice. I either got to stick with it and hope that it goes back up, or if it's heading toward the realm of bankruptcy, I'm screwed. So I don't like getting into those type of games. I get into the things that I understand. So, that's why I talk a lot about Apple. I'm a big Apple fan because I like their innovation. I think that, a lot of people like Tesla, and that's a very expensive stock, but I think it's worth checking into if you're into that kind of stuff. ETFs are an awesome way to go because an ETF isn't just one single stock. It's a basket of all kinds of different stocks that's managed either actively or passively by a company or by a person. And I think that's what makes it nice because you can kind of say, okay, I'm interested in big tech. I'm interested in electric vehicles. I'm interested in travel. I want to invest into that because I'll at least kind of understand if shit hits the fan, for the lack of a better term. So for example, like let's say you invested $10,000 into the cruise line industry in February 2020. Right now, you're probably hurting and crying because your portfolio has to be down from February 2020 because the cruise line industry has been completely shook up since that shutdown back in March. So, if you just invested in it, didn't know anything about cruise lines, and you're just like, whatever. I mean, granted, sure, you're going to hear it in the news because of the pandemic, but what if they did something strategically that's really dumb and it just sets them up, it just makes them fail? You're not going to be ready to get out or cash in on your profits. So anyway, that was a rant, but I'm not a big fan of going after the insane things that feel like they're going to 10x. Somebody was actually asking me about sundial growers. There's a lot of concern about that. And I said, I don't invest in them. I don't really know anything about sundial. I know that they are part of the cannabis industry, but again, I focus on, if I'm going to invest in something like that, it's going to be an ETF because that's just what I like. But sundial growers, if you're invested in that and that's hurting you, I am sorry. I don't know too much about that one because I'm staying away from it because it just seems weird to me. Anyway, I'd like to know more about dividends for beginners. A lot of videos coming for dividends, so get ready. 300 is what my current. Oh wow! So it is $300 that you're earning in your monthly dividend on average. Amazing. I got a shout out to CNC 145. That is awesome. Cheers. That is awesome. $300 a month. That's amazing. Think about that, guys. That's like that could be a car payment. That could be something. Hopefully you're not in debt for your car. So let's just say that is. That's bills, that's groceries, that's something. Man, that's exciting. That's exciting. I hope you guys are kicking back and enjoying your Friday evening. Thanks for spending it with me. And hopefully you got a drink or something awesome in hand. For some of you on the West Coast, you're probably just getting home from work. Happy weekend to you. But yeah, so $300 a month is awesome. And, I have a video up. I think it's called Dividends or something. It's a really basic video. I'll try to find it and maybe link it down below in the comments once the live stream's over. But that video, I talk about how you can calculate how much money you can make either a month or every year based on the dividend yield. So like if you look at a particular company or ETF that you want to invest in and you divide how much you want to make a year, that's how much you need to invest. So I'm just going to throw out, I'm not going to actually throw out a real example. This is all going to be like fake just to give you an understanding. Let's say you want to make $60,000 a year. Okay. And that would be awesome. Let's say that's what you make right now on your job is $60,000 a year. And you figured, okay, well, if I can figure out all my if I'm out of debt and I don't really have any financial liability, I could live happy and free on $60,000 a year for the rest of my life. What you could look at is the dividend paying ETFs and stocks. How much would you have to invest in a portfolio to generate that per year? Sometimes based on the yields and based on the stability of the company and all that stuff, there's a lot of things to think about there, but it would tell you based on a simple calculation how much money you should invest in order to get that much money per year. And I think honestly, that's what fires me up every single day that I log into my brokerage apps. By the way, do you guys find yourself logging into your brokerage apps like every couple of minutes? Drop a comment if you do, because I'm sure you're like, if you're like me, like at least 8-9 times a day, I'm pulling up a variety of M1, Robinhood, Webull, my Schwab account. I don't really talk about my Schwab account, but I have a Schwab account. And what did I miss? Stash. I have a Stash account as well. But anyway, so yeah, I pull those things up all the time. It's almost like an addiction. But again, I'm not day trading it. It's just I like to see how things are going. That's just what I'm doing. But anyway, so I think that as you continue to grow your portfolio, you can get to that point where you're, shout out to, $300 a month. I think that is something that we should get fired up about. Think about all of your friends out there and all the people you know that right now are probably out hanging out somewhere, spending money that they don't even have. And it sucks. I know we've all been there at some point where we're like, man, why did I buy that? It wasn't worth it. What a waste of money. But you go out, you're dropping all kinds of money and it's just killing it, right? Like you're just like, oh man. And then you got these bills and all that. But not you and I. No, right now we're talking about the fact that we're going to invest in a portfolio to generate money on top of, and that's called passive income. Dividend income is passive income. You don't have to do, once you have that money in the brokerage account invested, you're not doing anything other than just letting it sit there to earn the money. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to like jump up and get more excited about this and figure out a way to make more money so I can invest it more. That's kind of that's what gets me jacked up and excited about, all this future potential. But instead of buying dumb crap, put it toward that, even if it's only $5 a week. You don't have to be sitting here like, oh God, I don't make enough money. I don't even know how to get started to get to $10,000 or something like that. Don't worry about that. Just start with what you can. I started with as simple as cutting out Starbucks out of my daily life. It was killing me. Every single week I actually finally calculated it was $30 a week. I know some of you may be falling over at that, $30 a week on Starbucks. And that was just way too much money. So I cut it out. And it's interesting. You don't realize how much money you spend until you understand that you're spending it by looking back on all of your charges. And that was such a dumb habit. So now I'm taking that money and I'm splitting it up amongst my brokerage apps. And then I basically reinvest that. So now it's going toward my bank account and my future net worth instead of drinking it and it's over in 10-20 minutes and then the cup goes in the trash. What a waste of life that is. So hey, shout out CNC. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for that. Certainly appreciate it. Every 15 minutes I'm checking the brokerage. I love it. Yeah, checked way more than I needed to. Hey, by the way, if anybody has Webull, I don't know if Robinhood does this, but at the end of the year, so they did this for 2020, they actually send you like a year in review summary and it tells you how many times you opened your app. I got to find that. I was like, oh God, it was like way too much. It was kind of embarrassing. So maybe at the end of this year, we're going to have some type of competition to see who has opened it up the most. And maybe there's like a giveaway or something. We'll have some kind of fun thing going on with that. But yeah, it can be quite fun and quite addicting. So, somebody was asking me, another comment I got was about Webull and dividends. So the thing with that, the thing I don't like about Webull, just to kind of say it, and if they're watching this, or if they ever watch this video, I connect with them a lot, but I've been giving them a hard time about the fact that they don't have dividend reinvestment. DRIP investment basically means if you get paid a dividend on something, let's give you, I'm going to give you an example. I'll just say Apple, because I'm looking at my Apple phone. Apple. Okay. So if I get a dividend on Apple, what Webull does is that they'll put that dividend back into my cash balance. And it might be hard. Let me see if this is going to be impossible, I think. Can you see that? Like right there, it says like $11. If you can see that, that's my current cash balance. That might have been extremely blurry, but that cash balance means I can now take it and invest in another company. But the thing with DRIP is that allows the brokerage to automatically reinvest that dividend back into Apple or back into whatever share is paying you a dividend. Webull, instead, they don't do that. They just dump it into your cash balance. And that kind of sucks, to be honest, because if you want to right now, you can't. So if I wanted to say, well, I got paid an $11 dividend with Apple. Apple right now is trading for $132. I can't do anything with this. I have $11 that I can't do anything. I need to have at least $132.90 in order to buy another share of Apple. I can't fractionally buy that share. So I know Webull's working on it. I will let you guys know as soon as they get it down, but they're killing me without fractional shares and without the ability to do this dividend reinvestment program. I hope someday we'll get it like within the next couple months, but in Robinhood, they do that. They can allow that kind of stuff. They allow fractional shares. In Stash, they have the dividend reinvestment program, but Webull does not yet. So hopefully someday they will. Let's see here. You can save $10,000 in 2 years if you save $100 a week. Man, right? Like, it's interesting when you do the math on these things. $100 a week is nothing. At the end of the day, seriously, $100 a week. And like I said, if you're out there and you're thinking, I can't do that, I only make this much money per hour, or this much money per year in my job. You got to think outside your job. On this channel, I'm going to continue to push. I have a lot more content coming about this. Push the job out of the way. We got to find a different way to make money on top of the job, right? Like find side hustles that get you $100 a week, and then save that up, like Donnie just said, at $10,000 in 2 years. That's super easy to do. And then you could just throw that toward whatever you need or whatever you want. So, I think that's a key point. So I talked about Amazon Flex. I did have another thing for a side hustle. If you want to do a side hustle to find a different way, if you just hopped on, Amazon Flex is an app you can download. It allows you to basically be that prime delivery person on your own time. I don't think so. The way that they told me when I signed up to be selected for this Amazon Flex in my area is that I got to drive my own vehicle. So you basically go out, you go to this distribution center that Amazon has, you load up the packages, and then you just drive it around and drop it off in people's houses. And that's what you do. So I think that's a cool way. They say that they pay up to $25 an hour or more. And there are tip options too. So I guess people can tip you on Amazon Flex. So I thought, hey, why not try it? So I'm going to give it a try. I'm working through the application process because it wasn't available in my area right away. But they now said it is now available. We're welcoming you, blah, blah, blah. You got to fill out all this stuff. And I am going to do a video on this because I want to really put this to the test, because I've had some buddies doing it and they're killing it with some extra income on their weekends. And some people are super crazy and they're doing it like at night. I love my sleep, but I mean, if you got the time and let's say your job, you get off early enough and you go hop onto this thing and you deliver some Amazon packages, boom, make some money. So anyway, that's one of them. But I also want to talk about Rover for a second. And this one, people were like, oh man, this is super cool. If you like dogs, this rover.com, Rover app, basically people pay you to go and walk their dog. And it's not like some high school job where they get $5 or something like that. These people pay like 10, 20, 30, 40, $50, depending on what you're doing with the dog, just for spending some extra time with the dog. So they don't have time to walk their dog, but they care enough about their dog to make sure it's getting exercise. Maybe they're out. They have a job or something like that, and they want you to come pick up the dog, take it for a quick walk, and they pay you like $20. Sometimes they tip you on top of that. So that's another good side hustle that I think is really cool. Unfortunately, I got some bad news. We after 14 years I had to put my little doggy down. He was getting very, very old, and we believe he had a little bit of a a mental decline. He wasn't himself. So this has been a rough week, guys. I had, unfortunately, a puppy is no longer, I call him a puppy. He's 14 years old. He definitely had that life expectancy. He was definitely in that range of, the unfortunate things that dogs go through. So, I definitely wanted to make sure I shouted out to Rover.com and Rover app, because if you do like dogs and you appreciate that kind of thing, great side hustle income. Yeah, I don't, somebody was asking me, what about things like, delivering Domino's and stuff like that? Delivering pizza is okay, unless, see, it goes back to one of my things. I got a thing about that. When I talk about side hustles and making money, I don't like talking about, going out and like slaving away your time. I don't like that. I only like side hustles that you can have power over. So what I mean by that is I can go on to Amazon Flex, I can go on to Rover, I can go to Uber, I can go to DoorDash, and I can say, here's when I want to work and here's when I'm not working, and I can just turn it on and turn it off whenever I want. And I can scale it up too. If I want to go absolutely crazy and just spend as much time as possible, I can do that. But with something like pizza delivery, you got to be careful, because if you apply to like Papa John's or Domino's, they may say, well, we need you from Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and we need you to work from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And if you're late, you're going to get written up, or you could lose your job. I don't like that, because, you got to have the freedom. Because what if something comes along your way and you're like, hey, I could actually pause on this for a second. Maybe I make like $100 a night in pizza, but if I do this thing right now and I take massive action right now today, I could actually make an extra $100 plus, like maybe 200 or 300 if I take advantage of something right now. Well, you don't want to miss that something because you're too busy over here dealing with Domino's Pizza or something like that. So I'm very big on making sure that I don't get trapped into a part-time job. Because to be honest with you, what I found, especially with the internet, if you can do things on the internet, man, you can scale that up so much more than spending time out of your life to just get paid a paycheck. So that's just my opinion. So Etsy.com too. I mean, there's some serious stuff. One of my buddies I was talking to, he has been doing TikTok, and I thought it was crazy. They're doing children's books, like, they write children's books, and it's legit. It's not like something weird or anything like that, but they have these ideas and they write them up. They go into Fiverr and they look for an illustrator. They pay the illustrator to illustrate their children's books, and then they sell it on Amazon, and they're making thousands of dollars. I mean, this isn't hundreds, this is thousands of dollars, with good quality content, of course, and a good storybook and everything like that. And I thought, wow, how cool. And it's basically the Kindle service on Amazon. So there's so much you can do. That's what's badass about the internet. There's so much you can do. You can do YouTube. You can do all kinds of different things that, allows you to do it on your own schedule, on your own time. And you're your boss. That's what's awesome about it. Let's see what else we got here in the comments. And by the way, thank you again for everything for, these 25,000 subscribers. So much more content and stuff coming. It's going to be awesome. Oh yeah, you can totally, side job makes $500 a week. That's awesome. That's incredible. And then cut grass, shovel snow, or do Amazon Flex. Yeah, I mean, millionaires don't sleep. They think of ways to make money. That's absolutely true. And, even, yeah, you're right. Cutting grass, if you can find the right people that are going to pay you the right amount of money for your time, that's flexible, because you can say, well, I'm going to do it on this day and this day, and I'm not going to do it on that day. You're not contracted to go to the job. You're not going to get written up and things like that. Does it take a lot to get approved for Amazon Flex? No, it doesn't. The one tricky thing, just to throw it out there, is that it is kind of like, obviously, they're going to focus you on areas that are high demand. So if you're in a very rural area, like you're out in the woods somewhere, it might be hard, or you're going to have to make the decision to say, I'm okay driving into a popular area. Maybe it's the city or something like that. Just keep that in mind. For example, where I'm at, I'm going to have to drive into Orlando, because Orlando, Florida is, of course, a little bit more of a booming city than where I live. So I'd have to drive in there, do my thing, and then I can come back and you can deliver it in your town. It's just their distribution center is probably far away. So you select, do I want to do like 10 miles, 25 miles, or 50 miles from where my house is? And then at that point, they'll do one of two things. They'll say, it's not available in your area yet. We'll put you on a wait list, which is what I was on for a long period of time. And then at that point, they say, hey, good news, it's time to sign up. And all you need is a valid driver's license. you do have to be 21 years or older. So first of all, we're sitting here with our drinks, so hopefully we're all 21 years or older. But if you are under 21, that will be something you got to keep in mind. So if you're only 18, you're going to find something else until you turn 21 based on Amazon's requirement for that. Social security number, approved auto insurance, and a bank account. And of course, they got to pay you. So that's why you got to put your bank account in there. And if you're an Amazon employee, if you're like a Amazon associate somehow, I'm not talking about affiliate. I'm just talking about if you maybe work from home and you're like a customer service associate, you're not going to be able to do flex. But if you don't work for Amazon, you'll be perfectly fine with that. So yeah, I think, if you meet those qualifications, you're pretty much good to go. And then of course, delivery time, and as long as there's no complaints when you go to deliver the packages, you'll be set up, and then they'll continue to trust you, and they'll give you more ability to do more packages and things like that. There's also the Amazon grocery delivery service that they have as well. So if that's available in your area, another great way to scale that up. So all right, let's see here. By the way, my goal, I think I hit like 36. I wanted to get like 40 people on the live stream tonight. And you know what? I'm going to consider it a success. And I'm going to thank all of you again for that, because 27 people, this is my very first live stream. I figured out a way that I can now share my screen, but I don't have the software yet and the stuff requirement for that. So, because I do want to be able to actually show you like my dividend portfolio. I want to take you into some other things that I do. And right now it doesn't let me do that the way this is right now. So this is all new to me, but I'm going to figure it out, and we're going to get it rocking and rolling very soon. So that'll be cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, congrats on the first live stream. Yeah, it's quite a journey. It's a lot different than when you just upload a video. I will tell you that. It's a whole different dashboard. And I'm like, oh crap! I thought I could just like hit a button and share my screen, because I have so much up here that I could totally share. And I'm like, oh man, it tells me I need something else to be able to stream and do all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh God. So, but we will get that figured out, and we're going to do that for the future. Somebody was asking about Robinhood. Oh, it's 38. Hey, you know what? I'm going to call it a success. I mean, 2 away from 40, we're going to call it a success. But yeah, somebody was asking about Robinhood. Some of you may have found me through the videos back. So it was like end of January. You had the whole GameStop situation happen. And then Robinhood went crazy. I mean, everybody got so mad at them because they stopped allowing the ability to buy GameStop. Okay. So here's the deal with that. I know there's some people that totally disagree with me, and you have every right to disagree anytime you want. I appreciate disagreement, because that's what makes us unique and awesome. But I got to be honest. Like, at first, I was pissed. I'm not going to lie. Back in January, I'm like, why are they doing this? They were the company that started it all from the standpoint of getting away from the old school brokerage crap of the past. Why would Robinhood all of a sudden turn on us? But then I did some research, and then I started understanding what the heck was actually going on. And the volatility of GameStop going up and down so freaking fast, especially at the end of January, what they do, there's like a trading window, and they have to, based on the clearinghouse, there's a lot of things that go into actually buying a stock. Even though it looks like it's instant when we hit buy, it actually has like a trailing 2-day situation that goes on, where they go through a clearinghouse and they secure the stock purchase, and all this other crap happens. And what they had to do is the clearinghouse said, you have got to put up enough capital as Robinhood, the company. You have to put up enough money to back up all of these purchases, which means that if GameStop was trading at 400 and in that same day dropped to $100 or $10 a share or something epic like that, they would have had to still been able to deliver that amount of money to the shareholders that purchased the stock, even though it's now worthless. So there's a lot of risk and scary opportunity with that, because you as a company, think about it, if you're a business owner, you're not going to put up millions or billions or trillions of dollars in a capital to secure everybody's buy request on this meme stock that's going absolutely crazy. You're not going to do it, because one bad move, you get screwed. The same thing actually happened with Apex Clearing Company. And Apex, they have they're the clearinghouse for Webull. They're the clearinghouse for Stash. I was actually looking, and Webull had the same problem, just not as long as Robinhood, because they're not their own clearing firm. They route through Apex. So anyway, I don't want to make it complicated and confusing, but at the end of the day, here's what I'm going to say about it. It goes back to good old gambling, because GameStop is kind of exciting. That whole short squeeze was a very exciting opportunity. And it would be an interesting way to say, look, if I got in at the right time, I could have made some serious money on GameStop. And that's AMC was another one, right? If you got in at the right time, could have made some good money. But that right there is the problem. Can you get in at the right time? And if you can't, you're going to lose a lot of money. It's just the same thing as like the freaking roulette wheel. If you've ever been in a casino, you know the black and white thing, it's spinning around, you get the ball flying, and you put down $50 on black, right? And you're just damn hoping it lands on black, and guess what it lands on? Red. That's what you're doing with that kind of stuff. And, on this channel, we got to live our sweet life. We just talked earlier about making $60,000 a year in dividend income. How's that going to happen if you try to make $1 million overnight? 90% of the time, that shit's going to throw back in your face. It's going to be terrible. So anyway, do you believe the people who said it wasn't about the money? Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. There's some concerns about, why did Robinhood do that? It's not about the money. It's kind of about the principle of holding that back and doing what they did. And I can understand that. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say that really I think will relate to your question there, but also talk about like where I do agree with some of the people that are extremely frustrated with them, is that they did a piss poor job communicating it. They didn't tell anybody what's going on. I did a video called Leaving Robinhood where I tried to explain the whole clearinghouse situation and how that all works. Where was Robinhood in that, right? They should have come out and said, look, here's what we did. Here's why we did it. Here's a video. Here's a graph. Here's something. Here's some type of communication. It was just like, hey, we got to halt. Stop. We're stopping. We're stopping. We're done. And everybody's like, why? Twitter's blowing up. Everything's blowing up. And I think they hid in the shadows for far too long. And on top of that, they didn't have a customer service line, so you couldn't call them. You couldn't figure out what's going on. You could try to message them in the app. It's not going to work, So eventually, they, I think, got the rude wake-up call. And I honestly, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but again, we talked about pulling up the apps all the time. I'm pulling up Robinhood all the time, and they are starting to get better at what they're doing. The communication is getting better. They had these videos, and they actually had their CEO talking about what happened and what they're planning to do for the future. They did roll out a customer service line for options trading, not yet for just stock trading yet, but they're getting there. So I think in a way, GameStop was good to improve Robinhood. So I guess in a way, it could be an opportunity for people to say, look, at the end of the day, it actually helped them improve, to become a better company, to make sure that they're not becoming a bunch of slimy people like some of the brokerages of the past. I don't know. Because again, it doesn't impact, like unless you were chasing GameStop, it shouldn't really have impacted you at all, because everything else was still open to trade. If you wanted to buy like, some type of share of Coca-Cola or AT&T or whatever else, or some ETFs, you should have been able to still do that. It was just those high insane stocks of that period in January. But yeah, I think that really the root cause for me that I could kind of agree with was the fact that they just did a bad job communicating. And hopefully this helps them get their crap together. I will give them a shout out and say, so far, it seems like it is. It seems like they have done the right thing and they've improved. So hopefully that'll continue on. Now all we need is Webull to get fractional shares and dividend reinvestment program, and then I think we'll finally have this all figured out. What's everybody's thoughts on M1 Finance? Does anybody use that one? I don't have any videos on M1 Finance on the channel, and I do have an account with them, but I only have like $100 in it because I wanted to try it out. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. Drop a comment if you guys use M1 Finance. I'd be really interested to understand that, because I will show you. I decided to do something a little bit rogue in my M1 experience here. What they do is this pie thing, right? So you basically can fractionally share. You can buy fractions of the share, and you build these pies. So I built this big tech pie, which has Facebook, Google, Apple, Netflix, and Tesla in it. And the thing I think is a little bit tough with M1 is every time I try to deposit, it does have a minimum deposit requirement of $100. So that, I don't know. Every time I've tried, I don't think there's a way to do less than $100. So that's the one thing I'm still a little bit hung up on, which is why I haven't done a review yet on this app. Because, again, if you're like me and you want to find a way to cut something out of your budget, and you want to say, I'm going to stop drinking Starbucks, or I'm going to stop maybe buying extra food or something, like whatever that is, you find extra room in your budget. You only got $5 or $10 a week or something like that. I don't know. What are you going to wait until the $10 accumulate to 100 and then transfer it to M1? What's the point of that? I'd rather just be able to say, I'm going to pop it into something like Stash or something. Yeah, well, Stash or Webull or Robinhood or something like that allows me to just transfer a small amount. So let's see what we got here. So, yeah, I do, but I'm lost. Yeah, I'm lost too. It's weird. I think it's great for the long-term autopilot investing. I use Schwab for short-term trades. Okay, yeah. So that's a good point about the autopilot long-term. I think that would be, especially if you're going to do the $100 increments. I also use Schwab for. Now I actually use Schwab for some interesting things like buying extreme dips. So I've never talked about this. So we'll celebrate 25K, if I can say that right, with something I haven't shared on the channel yet. And that's my Schwab account is focused on a quick story. Okay, went over. It was like 2009. Do you remember the financial crisis of 2009? Everything was going to hell fast. Everything was crashing, and I didn't have a lot of money back in those days. And so I'm sitting here. I'm like, man, I see things like Ford Motor Company, and I see things like, what else was it? Disney. And Six Flags theme parks. All of these stocks went to zip, almost really low. I think Disney was around $19 a share. Ford was around $2 a share. Six Flags was around $1 a share. And I know that sounds like, well, that seems like, why didn't you go all in? Why? I really didn't have a lot of money back then. I really didn't. I kind of started from nothing here, guys. So I bought a share or two of each one of those, but that's it. And again, if you only buy one share, you can't expect for long-term growth to happen. So 10 years later, 2019, I look and I'm like, okay, I think I bought one of Ford and one of Disney. And I'm like, wow, if I would have just scaled that up so much more, just imagine what my portfolio, I just wish I had more money to put in. So in the unfortunate, insane world we lived in last year, in March 2020, a very similar thing happened in 2009. Things went downhill fast. And I said, well, now I got the money. I've got out of debt. I've done all my things. So now is lesson from the past. I'm going all in this time. So I went absolutely crazy on buying things like cruise line stocks. I'll admit, I bought a lot of cruise line stocks. I bought things that were dipping significantly. I bought all kinds of stuff in Schwab. So Schwab has always been my weird little buy the dips and long-term growth. That's kind of what it's been. And again, I said 10 years. I think this will be in there for 10 years plus. I am not a big person to pull out even in a short amount of profit, because I look back at my lessons from 2009. I look back from the days of Six Flags and wishing I bought in when it was like $1 or something like that. Because I don't know what it trades for now, but I remember at one point it was like $56. And I'm like, dang it. Why didn't I get in on that? I just wish I had the money. And so right now it is Six Flags stock. 46.89. Again, you think about that, $1 a share. I bought 100 shares. Now it's $46. Yeah, it kills me. So anyway, I'm a long-term holder. That's how it is. But Schwab is always going to be my buy the dips. Let's see here. What's the benefit of multiple apps? There's not really much of a benefit of multiple apps, to be honest. Obviously with my channel and kind of, helping you guys out, I test out a lot of different apps. So that's just something I do because I want to help make sure that I'm giving you the best value, which is why I haven't talked about M1 Finance in all transparency, because I'm still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to really, the $100 thing's got me a little bit I don't know. I don't know if that fits into kind of what I talk about. So I got to really think about that. But anyway, I still want to test run it. But I do now, even though I do that over the long term, what I'm doing is I focus strategy based on the app. So because they're all free, they don't require you to pay just to have the app. I take advantage of it. So Webull is my dividend ETF portfolio. I know that in Webull, I'm going to be investing in ETFs that pay a dividend, preferably monthly, if not quarterly. Robinhood is going to be my little rogue single stock account where I'm going to go into things that I think are interesting that I have interest in. Not a financial advisor. I always got to throw that out there. So even though I say certain stocks, don't take it for I got to go buy them, but do your own research and make sure you're doing the right thing for you. But for example, I threw some money into AT&T, which don't laugh at that because you got to remember AT&T owns things like Warner Media, and there's a lot of things, HBO, a lot of things that they're scaling up. They're not just the typical phone service anymore. There's other things in that portfolio that I find interesting. They also pay a dividend, which is nice. Coca-Cola, Bank of America. I got some REITs in this as well. But yeah, so Robinhood's my little rogue one-time account. And then Stash is kind of my $5 a week, safe, long-term, fun little investment app. So in that I have, Stash is a little bit, Stash is super for the beginner. They don't focus on ticker symbols. They focus on things like, here's a good example, blue chips. Okay, there you go. I don't know if you can see that. It says blue chips. So really blue chips, what that is it's the Vanguard Mega Cap ETF. The ticker symbol for that is MGC. But they make it easy to understand. That's what's cool about Stash for beginners is they make it easy to understand what you're investing in. But yeah, that's kind of my little tried and true and trusty little app that I really enjoy. So that's kind of why I do that. And then I do dabble in cryptocurrency with Coinbase. The reason I use Coinbase is because I don't like investing in cryptocurrency. I'd rather invest in owning cryptocurrency. There's a big difference. For example, if you do that in a Webull app, you're investing in the idea of cryptocurrency. You're basically investing in something like Bitcoin and hoping that it'll go up in value. And you don't actually own the Bitcoin. But in Coinbase, you actually do own it. So I could actually go out, and more companies and more areas are starting to accept Bitcoin as payment. So I can go out and actually pay in Bitcoin. Am I doing that now? No, I'm not. But eventually I could have that option. And I don't be stuck with, well, I have all this money tied up into a brokerage app that doesn't allow me to pay in Bitcoin. It's just investing in the idea of it versus, yeah, I can go out and actually use it because I use Coinbase. So that's kind of why I do that. So anyway, that's what's going on, guys. This is cool. I wasn't actually expecting. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting to go this long, but I think we had some really good conversations, right? Like, got up to 38. I think that's a success. I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, 25,000, and I will call this just the beginning. I am treating this like a business now, so I have a lot of things planned for the future content. And I also really appreciate all of your comments as well. I look at that and I really think, okay, how can I make my content better? How can I make this make more sense? And how can I help you guys live your ultimate sweet life? And that's kind of the game plan. So, Cash App. Yeah, Cash App is, is it another good option for Bitcoin? Honestly, I don't know. Does Cash App allow you to own the Bitcoin? Let's see here. Oh, it looks like they do have a wallet. Sending and receiving Bitcoin. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it does. So that could be an option. BlockFi is another one. I've always, long time ago, I had Coinbase, and it's just something that I've grown to, I guess, be comfortable with. But yeah, as long as Cash App has a wallet that you can transfer and send and receive Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, in that case, I would consider that worthwhile to look more into. Again, stay away from the investment options. What do I think about Doge? I just did a video on Doge. Okay, so and there's a lot of comments, man. They were pushing back on me, and I get it. I understand why they did, but I'm going to explain why I still disagree with it. Because Doge is, I just talked about Bitcoin, right? I can buy things in Bitcoin, and I think that's what's cool about this type of option. It's a currency that has potential. I'm talking about Bitcoin right now. It has a currency that has potential to grow. And go to Tesla.com and try to buy yourself a Tesla car. You'll see a purchase option for either a credit card or Bitcoin. there are certain subways that now offer the ability to buy in Bitcoin. Think about, like, if you got an Apple Watch, you can go on and you can literally tap and pay for pretty much everything. Imagine if one of your options someday will be Bitcoin. We are moving to a digital world, and there may be a chance that Bitcoin becomes adopted internationally. So especially if you're a big traveler, think about, no more do you have to worry about converting your dollars to another form of currency. You can basically pay for everything in the universal payment of Bitcoin. I think this has a lot of opportunity for future interest, future success. Doge, on the other hand, I don't see that being adopted mainstream. It is, people say it is the people's coin. It's, it's going to the moon and all that, but I want to listen to what actually is going out in the world, in the real world, and I see more interest and more knowledge toward Bitcoin at the moment. I'm not saying that Doge couldn't get there, but right now you hear Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. That's kind of how I hear it. There's a lot of other cryptocurrency, potentially a lot more upside potential to all this stuff over here, and that's fine. I'm not saying Doge sucks, like burn it to the ground. I'm just saying be very, very careful about this space over here. If you want something that, I'm thinking is a little bit more worthwhile, it would be one of the three that I just mentioned. I would say that it's also, I think that when it comes down to gold, gold is an asset that is limited in nature, and so is Bitcoin. They designed Bitcoin that once it's mined, once they find all the Bitcoins, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in circulation. That's it. Now, Dogecoin continues to add circulation every time they mine. So Doge is a lot like the United States dollar. So there's going to be the inflation. There's going to be potentially the devaluation of the currency based on what people accept it. It's still new. So I'm not saying that it's definitely going to happen and this is what it's going to be. And I think that's where some people were blasting me on that video for. But it's just, I'm thinking long term, I'm thinking like, what is actually going to make sense? And, go ask like 5 of your friends that don't know much about anything. I mean, like the people that aren't like, into finance stuff, they kind of, oh yeah, whatever, I'm not interested in that. But ask them about cryptocurrency. Be like, have you ever heard of something like that? And they probably will say, you mean the Bitcoin stuff, right? That I highly doubt that they'll say like, oh yeah, what about, Doge or Stella or something like that. Right now Bitcoin is kind of where it's at. So that's my opinion on Doge right now. Good point. Coinbase allows you to watch videos for crypto and earn cash up to $31. Yes, and I took advantage of that, and I recommend you guys do as well. If you have Coinbase, hop over there tonight. It's a great way to start making yourself some extra money. It's 31 bucks and it doesn't take that long. If I remember right, the videos aren't that long at all. And it just kind of tells you a little bit about certain other cryptocurrencies. And it's a really cool way to learn about this very somewhat new world of crypto. And they'll actually give you extra. And what you can do is you can either keep it or you can actually cash out that crypto that they give you and convert it either into Bitcoin or into US dollars if you want to transfer it back into your bank account. I'll throw up if I had to buy my future house for 2.5 million Doges. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the whole thing. I don't know if you guys know, some of you may, if you're in tune with the whole United States dollar, but back in the President Nixon days, they took the US dollar off of the gold standard. So basically, gold being a limited asset used to equal how much they could print in circulation in United States dollars, which is why the dollar was always so highly valued. But during that period of time, they took it off the gold standard, which allows them to print it based on governmental approval. So they can continue to print money and print money and print money. What you got to be careful of course, over the long period of time is that amongst all the other foreign currency, is your country's currency strong enough? Is it devalued? Is it strengthening? Is all that kind of stuff going on? So, that's the one thing to keep in mind, which is why I'm so interested in Bitcoin having that limited resources of 21 million. And also the velocity of money. Well, the velocity of money doesn't really have anything to do with the devaluation, but I think it's an interesting thing too. I have a video plan for that too, where you have the velocity of money means, on top of how much money they're printing and how much is going out into the world, what happens with that dollar? You want velocity of money to happen. And what this means is, let's say you go out and you buy yourself a beer, okay? You give the tip to the waiter or the waitress or the bartender or whatever, and they take that tip and then they pay for lawn service. And then the lawn service person says, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this with it. And then it hands over to maybe a pizza delivery guy and he gives him a tip. So the velocity of that dollar bounced from point A to point B to point C to point D. And that's good. You want that kind of velocity going. What you don't want, or what they don't want, or whatever, is you pay a tip for the beer and they put it in savings for a long period of time, because the velocity of money then slows down. So that's all kind of part of the economic world of, how are we doing, and are things going to get crazy in the stock market? Are things going to get crazy in the overall economic force? So yeah, I got a video coming on that. That's going to be an interesting thing to talk about for sure. So anyway, that's what's going on there. So all right, guys, this is cool. I really appreciate all the comments and everything like that. I haven't done any research into foreign exchange. Have you? I haven't, to be honest. So I'm not too familiar in that. And I got to be honest, the thing that drives me nuts about that is I know there's a lot of legitimate things about Forex, about foreign exchange, but there is so much freaking spam. It drives me up a wall. Like all the emails you get about Forex and all these dang bots on YouTube. You guys don't believe how much time I waste on deleting spammy comments on YouTube. It kills me. And you know what else is frustrating is that on top of that, people start taking your personality. So basically it's me. They look like me. They basically create an account. It's named me. It has even my freaking profile photo on it. And they reply to people in the comments, and it makes it seem like I'm replying to them. And I don't have WhatsApp. I am mad at WhatsApp, and it's probably not even their fault. But scammers are targeting WhatsApp right now. And what they do is they reply to some of you guys and they say, hey, I can help you with your investments. WhatsApp me at this number. That's not me talking. And, I see it happen to everybody else. There's a lot of other much more famous YouTubers out there that it's happening to them too. And they're going it's berserk. It's insane. So Forex sometimes falls in that, and it drives me up a wall that, it's just ridiculous. And by the way, a good way to look at it is next time, whether you're on my channel or somebody else, when the actual person replies to you. So if I actually reply to you in YouTube, it actually has it highlighted. Like my name is I think grayed out, or like it has like a border around it. That's legit. If it has that, if it's me and it doesn't have that little black border around it, it's not. It's some spammy person. And it doesn't matter if it's me or shout out to Graham Stephan. You all know Graham Stephan, right? Like if it's something like not that, if it doesn't have that black border around it, it's not Graham. It's not me. It's somebody else. And it's just not, it's not cool. It's not cool. So don't fall for that crap, because I would hate for you guys to actually contact one of these people and get screwed somehow. That would be terrible. Oh yeah. So I don't know anything about Forex, or I try to stay away from it because of the spammers. So oh, okay. So hey, sorry I missed that. So only the initial deposit is $100 on M1 Finance. After that, the minimum is 10. So maybe I'm screwing that up when I go into my app, because I tried to deposit, right? Like last week. That's how I'm newer to this, because again, I've been asked questions about M1, and I said, okay, well, I will do this. And I'm trying to do it, right? I'm trying to learn before I do a review, because I don't want to give a review on something that I haven't actually used. I'm very big about that. So, and I tried to actually put something in, or transfer money in, I should say. And it was like, oh, you need $100. So maybe I screwed something up. I don't want to waste your time here, but I'm going to try that out. Thanks for that heads up. So yeah, because man, there's nothing more frustrating than me wasting time. And by the way, I was like that back in the fitness days. I will never do a review on something I haven't used. So, sometimes people ask, what about this or that? I know Cash App, and a lot of people have been asking me about Cash App in public. I need to look into them, but if I haven't had enough runtime with it to be able to say, okay, I use this, I tried to beat it up, I tried to poke holes in it, and here's my honest review. If I don't have time to do that, I'm not going to do a review on it, because I'm not going to just sit here and be like, hey, check this out. You got to go sign up. Link down below. I don't like doing that, because that's just not fair. It's not transparent. And quite honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? And that's not right. That's not right. So it's just kind of my own morals. I gotta feel that out. Guys, we're at 30 and we hit 40. We hit 40. The goal has been achieved. So whoever just jumped on, you, my friend. Oh, somebody just left. But who cares? Somebody just talked about it. I just saw it hit 40. That was my goal tonight. Newer YouTube channel, very first live stream. I'm running into overtime. I wasn't actually expecting to be on this long. So thank you guys for hanging out for so long. And I'm like, okay, I'm starting out and I know it's not going to be a ton of views or a ton of watchers, but I'm going to say, you know what, 40. That's my goal. And I actually wrote it down here on the iPad. I said, the goal is to hit 40 and it just freaking happened. So thank you guys. Thank you. That was awesome. So anyway, yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. So what else? I don't know. I don't want to string along. I know I really appreciate you guys hanging out on a Friday night here with me. This has been super freaking awesome. And not only the fact that we hit 25K here on the community of the Sweet Lifers, but we also just crossed over 26. So if you're brand new as of the last couple of days, you are a proud person in that 26,000 subscribers. By the way, I wanted to ask a question, and this is going to be an interesting one. Do you guys know, this is almost a stupid question, ready? Do you guys know Mr. Beast? Do you know who that is on YouTube? This is the dumbest question. Everybody's probably going, well, of course I know Mr. Beast. I would actually be more interested if you don't know Mr. Beast. Comment below and say, I don't know who you're talking about. Who's Mr. Beast? And while you guys do that, I want to answer this one quick question. How comfortable do you feel about Stash from 1 to 10? I feel perfectly fine. I would give him I'll give him an 8. And the reason I don't give him a 9 or a 10, one thing that you got to keep in mind with Stash, unlike Webull, unlike Robinhood and some of the others, Stash does charge you to be part of their brokerage app. So once you actually start investing in Stash, the lowest, right now, as of the recording of this here live stream that we're talking about, the lowest, what am I trying to say? The lowest membership. Yeah, the lowest membership is $1 a month. So yes, I pay $1 a month to have this app. So if you're like, I don't like that idea, then I would stay away from Stash. Now, Stash is a little bit more clunky than your faster moving apps like Robinhood or Webull. So for example, you want to buy something, you want to buy a stock or an ETF, they have 2 trading windows, one in the morning and one in the afternoon before the market closes, okay? So a lot of people get frustrated because they'll put in a trade at like 1:30 and they got to wait till around 3 or 4 o'clock. I think it's like 3 or 3:30 Eastern Standard Time for their trade to actually go through. And that's because Stash kind of controls that. They're not that fast moving type of thing. And it's by design. They're meant for beginners. So what you might find is that you start in Stash and you start learning a bunch of stuff. That's how actually I started. You start learning a ton of stuff. And then you're ready to kind of graduate. It's almost like you graduate onto something like the Robinhood or the Webull. It's possible, So you might find yourself eventually, and that's why they don't earn the 10, they earn more of an 8 because they're perfectly safe. They're legit. I've used them for now, I think it's going on like 2 or 3 years. They're legit. I've never had a problem with them. I've transferred money in, I've transferred money out, I've bought, I've sold, I've done all of that. But there's some quirkiness to it if once you graduate from beginner to immediate or even advanced. Mr. Beast, sorry. Mr. Beast. Okay, there's a lot of people that don't. So I'm giving him a free shout out, but the guy has 55 million, I think almost 56 million subscribers. So he doesn't really need a shout out. Here's why I mentioned Mr. Beast. B-E-A-S-T, Mr. Beast. I love the fact, now this guy was a gamer YouTuber a long time ago, and now he just does all kinds of really epic, awesome videos. And I want to say here tonight, on our very first live stream, that is my goal. Now I'm not saying 55 million and I want to get to the point of epicness and what I mean. Mr. Beast, go check out his videos and I'm sure you're going to get hooked. He'll do things like going around and just changing people's lives, giving people money. He makes a lot of money. Okay, let's be honest. He gets a ton of like sponsorships and all kinds of stuff. He makes a lot of money, right? But he's so like thoughtful of other people that he always gives his money away. Sure, he keeps some of it, but he gives a lot of it away. He reinvests into changing people's lives. And these videos are epic, for his, I think it was like the 40 millionth subscriber. He bought him like 40 cars or something like that, or something. I forget what the numbers were, but anyway, he bought a ton of cars. And his challenge to this person was, okay, in your house now, or in your yard, you have all of these cars. Your goal is to get rid of them by the end of the day. And and they were all free. So Mr. Beast bought all of these cars. It cost like over $300,000. And he put them all out in the yard. And this guy, his 40 millionth subscriber, had to give them all away. And he was calling up friends, family members, all that kind of stuff. He had a little bit of a twist to it to make it interesting, to keep you guys engaged, of course, on the video. But then, you know, what was awesome about it is everybody got all these new cars, and then he got a brand new Tesla at the end of it. And that's what I want. You know, I dream of a day, okay, where I can go out and pay people's mortgages off. That is kind of what I want. And that's why I wanted to say, and that's why I started with Mr. Beast. I wanted to talk to you about the fact that he did that. And that's kind of my goal. I want to get to the point where, you know, right here on the first live stream, we're going to remember this, right? Someday we get to this point where you see a video coming up, you know, on one of these random days, and the title is "Paid Off My 1 millionth subscribers home," or something like that. You know, like that is just super epic to me, to be able to give back to the community. I think he does an excellent job at that. And that's kind of my goal. And of course, I want to start with some people that I'm thinking of, but of course I want to make it finance related too. And really, if I could say, listen, I'm going to change your life today. We're going to pay off all your debt, or we're going to pay off your house, or we're going to do something. And as a result of that, you're now in power play. And because you're in power play, which means every dollar you make, you now don't have all of these balls and chains all over trying to weigh you down. You can invest that money now. And then we help that person get better at building their sweet life. Wouldn't that be awesome, right? Like we're going to pay off your debt. We're getting rid of all the crap of the past. And we're going to make sure that you don't go back into that trap. You're going to move forward and be the ultimate sweet lifer. So that's my goal, guys. You know, first live stream crew. Yes. Hashtag it. And let's not forget this, because I'm serious, guys. I'm not going to flake out and, you know, stop doing videos. I got a very serious business plan here, you know, in my mind, and as well as written down here. And I'm serious about this. And as we continue to scale up, it's going to get pretty interesting. And I just, you know, someday we're going to look back and that video is going to come forward about, you know, paying off somebody's debt or paying off their mortgage, or, you know, somebody has a crappy car. We're going to surprise them with a brand new car that isn't a piece of crap anymore. And, you know, things like that. And we're going to remember this right here tonight, and we're going to get fired up about it. And we're going to, you know, it's going to be awesome. Maybe it's one of you guys, you know, that would be epic. So hold on, I'm missing a bunch of comments, and I don't want to miss them out here. For Dividend Snowball, there are 65 stocks in the S&P 500 that have a record of paying dividends and raising them each year. SPHD. Yes, SPHD. I have SPHD. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. I will always say that. But yeah, SPHD is a good one. Has a little bit of a higher expense ratio, but that's okay. You know, anything under 0.75 is fine. And of course, there's the what we'll call the sexy ones that are at 0.06%, and the 0.06%. Man, those are good ones. Vanguard has a lot of them. There's the SCHD, Schwab dividend, and that's at 0.06 or 0.07. So that means that you're paying less to the people that are managing that ETF. Let's see here. Mr. Beast owns a Salvation Army type of business where he buys out the whole store and gives away the items to people for free at a very low cost. I've seen those videos. How cool is that? So, you know, again, this guy started out as just a gamer YouTuber, and he's like, you know, I'm going to try to grow this channel. He was all jacked up about the fact that he achieved 2,000 subscribers, right? And now the guy's sitting there at 55, almost 56 million, and he buys out a store. He'll literally go out to the store and say, I want to buy everything in here. And he then turns around after he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's be honest, that's not easy to do. And then he gives it away to other people. Freaking awesome. Yeah, so Webull, they offer 16 hours of stock trading. Yeah, that's good. Hey, I got to mention that. I'm sorry. I didn't mention that when we were talking about Webull earlier. So you got the lack of fractional share trading in Webull. That sucks. It's coming. It'll be awesome when it does. And it will create some fierce competition for some of these other brokerages when Webull finally announces that. Another cool thing about Webull, though, that will only strengthen them once they do fractional shares is the fact that they do pre and post market hours. So the market is open 9:30 to 4 Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 a.m., 4 p.m. And after that, the thing's closed. So you're sitting here, and let's say you're like, okay, I'm off of work at like 4:30 and or 5 or 6, and you're like, damn, I missed out on, some money that I wanted to invest. I got paid today, I transferred it in, I forgot to put it into my favorite dividend ETF or something like that. Well, with Webull, it allows you to do that after the market's closed and even before the market opens. And I think that's really cool. And it's definitely, and there's no added cost to that. The only difference is you do have to buy it on a limit and not on market. If that makes no sense to you, don't worry, it's all good. I think I actually have a video, and I'm gonna actually have a video. Whoa. Let me, I'm actually gonna put it in the chat because I think it's worth talking about. Even though I haven't learned how to share my screen yet, but here we go. I'm gonna put it in the chat. That right there, if that links up correctly, that is a video I did on how to buy stocks in Webull, and I talk a little bit more about how you can actually execute a share at the pre and post market hours in case you missed something and you want to get in on it. Do I have a list of monthly paying dividends? No, but I will put one together. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. I kind of have my stock portfolio, but I will say that, I also want to continue to grow that. There's also an interesting one somebody sent me that's a weekly paying dividend. And I'm going to talk about it quick because I was like, wait, what? Weekly paying dividend? Are you kidding me right now? But then I looked into it. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it. And I'll explain why. If you own it, it's all good. I just want to explain why I'm kind of funny with it. I'm going to pull up finance.yahoo.com. I'm going to type in the ticker symbol for that weekly paying one is TGIF, not the restaurant. It's called SoFi Weekly Income ETF, TGIF. Okay. So it's kind of newer, and so the thing is and this is also one of the first things hey, thank you, Brian. I appreciate you jumping on, and have a great night. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. The thing I don't like about TGIF is that it's newer, and if you go on finance.yahoo.com, it's a little bit lacking, I guess is the best word to say. It just doesn't have a lot of information. And then also the expense ratio is 0.59% because it is active, because they obviously need to always be adjusting their portfolio in order to give you the best stocks that will pay you weekly. But also the payout is garbage. I mean, 6 cents a week, I think, is what it is on a weekly basis. It just doesn't smell right to me right now. So I like the monthly ones because they have a lot of power. Somebody mentioned SPHD earlier. That one has a lot of power to it because I do a lot of research behind these things that, you want something that has a lower expense ratio but has a long-term growth value, and as well as a nice nod to the past. You don't want something that all of a sudden came on like a couple of days ago that doesn't have a lot of track record yet. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. So yes, that is highlighted. That's a good point. So in the live stream, it highlights, that means I'm the legit person and not one of those bots that are talking. They drive me up a wall, I swear to God. Oh, awesome, Michael, $1,000 account. That is amazing. That is awesome. And it's just the start of something awesome. So cheers to you for that. I think that, as you continue to grow on, it'll only go up from here. And the cool thing about it, especially if you do the dividends and stuff like that, every time you buy another share, you're giving yourself a raise. Doesn't matter when they pay it. If it's quarterly or monthly, hey, if it's 20 cents every month, every time you get another share, you get another 20 cents. Some people will laugh at you and say, well, 20 cents, what are you doing with your life? But what they don't know is that there's a snowball method behind that. I mentioned earlier, if you just hopped on, earlier in the live stream, we talked about trackyourdividends.com. It's a free service. You can go on there right now, get yourself a free account, plug in all your assets, and then click on future value. And what it'll do is it'll show you the growth value of that as well, because dividend stocks do have growth value to them. And your 20-cent raise that you just got last month will eventually be something that could potentially give you 30K plus, who knows, per year. I don't know, 100K. It depends how much, of course, you invest, but you'll be the one laughing at the end of all that. I keep hearing the stock market's going to crash. What do you think? Okay, so yeah, it probably will. It probably will. I don't know when, and I don't mean that in the sense of fear or panic. The stock market is going to go up and down, and I don't think it'll necessarily crash like I go back to 2009, what they call the Great Recession or the Great Depression. None of us, I don't think any of us are alive. If you were alive during the Great Depression, you got to drop a comment right now because we all owe you something because, geez, just saying. But anyway, so yeah, '09, I don't know. I don't think anything is really pointing to that right now. But I will say that, look, at the end of the day, I see, and it kills me, guys, when I get the comments or even the shout outs on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram where somebody will message me and they're like, hey, I'm down $100. Do I just give up and sell it at this point? Or what should I do? Because their mindset, what they do, let's say you buy a stock of Stella, which I don't think there's a stock of Stella. It's probably under a bigger name, but we'll just pretend. You got some beer. You're investing in Stella beer, and you drop $100 in, and then in a week it drops down, and your portfolio's only $50. So you lose $50, and your mindset goes to the fact that, okay, this is going down. Do I stay in it? Because if I stay in it, it could drop to 20. It could drop to 10. What do I do? Do I just sell it and cut my losses, and then maybe I can take that 50 and put it towards something else? So you get into that kind of mindset, but I want to encourage everybody to stop being in that mindset and look for the long term and just say, you know what, heck with it. I'm going to stick with it anyway and see it grow over time. And I have a good example of that. There is an ETF in Stash that I decided to invest in. Oh man, a year, 2 years ago, something like that. It's been a while. It might tell me how long ago it's been. Let me see here. So again, I'm not good. It's my first live stream. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So this is the best I can do it. Corporate cannabis. Okay. Yes, I did invest in the cannabis industry. Ticker symbol is MJ, or in Stash, it's called corporate cannabis. Now, I got this. I must have gotten this probably February, I would think, 2019 is when I started investing, and it was going for $33 a share. Okay. Then come the end of that year, it's only trading for $15.64. It dropped 50% on me. So, and I invested quite a few shares. I think I have a total of like 10 to 15 shares of this. And I'm like, oh God, this sucks. So I just decided to dollar cost average. And what that means is, as the price went down, I bought another share. So that way it kind of, my overall, cost was $33, but every time I bought another share, the overall average of what I paid for all my shares started going down a little bit. And I just hung on to it. And eventually I stopped investing in it, and I said, heck with it. I'm just going to let it ride. And indeed I did. And today it is still down, but it's only down 2.14%. There was a period of time, I think it went up to about 80% down at one point. But I decided February through today, I'm going to keep holding it until it goes into the green, and then I'll see how the industry is doing and either sell it or hold it. But I just held on. And so if the stock market crashes and you see all of your investments drop to the floor, the best thing to do, shut off the screen and don't look at it, because it's going to only stress you out, and let it rise back up, or buy more into it, because you buy at the dip. You don't buy when it's you don't buy when it's high and sell when it's low, because you don't want to give money back. You want to earn money. So I wouldn't worry about the stock market crashing, in honesty. It sucks. It may happen, it may not, but we just got to ride through it. They always say, don't get off the roller coaster in the middle of the ride, because if you're going up and down and you decide to jump off of it, you're probably going to get hurt. Just wait until it stables out, and then you can make your best decision, because at that point, the roller coaster has gone. It's going a little bit smoother. Maybe it's in the station and it's parked, and then you can decide if you're getting off or not. All right, so here's a question about Beachbody coaching business. All right, John, I actually talked about this a little earlier. I started with Beachbody as one of my side hustles. Beachbody being a network marketing company. And you may not have been on at that point when I first started, because it's a little interesting, because the best way I found to do it is to do things online. I don't like reaching out to people. So if any of you are thinking about a network marketing business or something like that, where you're basically recruiting people and trying to sell a product, I don't like people that bother me on Facebook. or that call me on the phone or something like that. So I don't recommend doing that because I don't know who actually enjoys doing that. Like, have you ever had somebody come up to you? Any of you out there tonight? Have you had somebody come up to you that maybe you knew years ago, back in school, back in high school, something like that, and they come up to you and they act like you're the long lost friend, like they knew you forever. And, oh man, how you been? It's been so long. Yeah, how's the kids? How's the family? Oh yeah, what's going on? And you're like, man, this guy's like really nice, or this girl's really wow. I didn't think we were that good of friends back in high school. Okay, whatever. And then it happens. Halfway through the conversation, they're like, oh, by the way, I got this business opportunity that I think you'd be really good for. And then right there it is. You realize all that before was a bunch of BS because they were just waiting to get to the point where they could pitch you the business. Don't do that. If you want to be successful in a side hustle like that, my recommendation is to do something. What I did is I did a blog. And I blogged about my fitness journey. And then eventually I did YouTube and I started doing a bunch of YouTube fitness videos. And the reason for that is I focused on how do I get people to search for what they already want to learn about. So for example, if they wanted to know about that program like P90X, what could I do to help them improve their experience in P90X, right? So I would do videos based on what they were searching for and blog posts based on what they were searching for. Same thing goes with anything you're working on, right? Try to find what people are looking for and then show up for that. You know, that's how I recommend it. Because at that point, somebody's coming to you. You're not going out and bothering them. It can be tough. Beachbody can be tough. I'm not going to beat around the bush, but it can be lucrative if it pays off. You know. Oh, so Stella does have a ticker symbol STZ. Ooh, man. You know, I like my Stella. That could be one of those companies that might be interesting to me. But again, I got to do a lot of research behind these things. Okay, Constellation Brands must be what the overarching company of good old Stella is. But yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just hopping on, I think it's important to really focus on stocks and ETFs that you know about, that you are passionate about. Don't invest in crap like dirt moving in California if you have no clue about the dirt mining or the dirt moving industry, right? Don't invest in crap you don't understand. I definitely understand Stella. Definitely understand it. So anyway, so that could be something that if their finances are looking half decent and things smell right, I may consider, but you know, might be worth checking out. When Tilray went wild, did MJ do real well? Yes, because in the MJ, we were talking, if you just hopped on, we were talking about in Stash, we got the MJ corporate cannabis environment going on here. It's an ETF. Corporate cannabis, it's ticker symbol MJ. And in that, and I want to make sure they still have that holding. Yeah, they do. So they earn 6.34% of Tilray Class 2 common. And yes, it did go up. I was positive for a hot second, to be honest. And it was oh, how long ago was it? It was maybe mid-March or February or something like that when it went wild. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so it did. It went up. I was positive, but I'm like, it's not positive enough. And you know, I'd be interested to see how this industry does. I don't want to get political, but I think that, you know, over time, there's more adoption of this kind of stuff coming, you know, from legalization perspective. And I think that's where things get interesting from an investment perspective, because if it does get legalized, it will bring a whole slew of opportunity. And then with that slew of opportunity equals more money in the bank account. So yeah, that's certainly something to be interested in. Do I look at covered calls as creating your own dividend? Yeah, I'm going to hold on that one for a second. I have a video coming out about covered calls, so I have more coming up. So, hey, have a great night, Donnie. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate everything. And I guess we'll have to do this again soon because this is rocking and rolling. Okay, can we trade during the weekend or the weekday? In what aspect are you asking that question? And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. Can we trade in the stock market during the weekend, or are you talking about cryptocurrency, or are you talking about Webull or something like that? I guess what I'll do while you're maybe typing or thinking through that, you can trade on the weekend 24/7 with cryptocurrency. Okay, crypto doesn't have market hours. Hey, no worries, no worries. Webull. Okay, so yeah, cryptocurrency you could trade 24/7. I don't recommend crypto on Webull because you don't own the crypto. So we'll put that aside. No, you can't do the weekend for stocks and stuff like that. The stock market is only open Monday through Friday, and it's only open from 9 a.m. Sorry, I always mess this up. 9:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the market hours. Now, their pre-market hours are 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Okay, so from 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., you can buy stocks and ETFs on Webull Monday through Friday. Then the market's open, everything's fine. And then when the market closes, they allow you to trade them from 4 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. in their post-market hours. So they kind of extend that for you. It's kind of awesome. And good call, Scott. That's a good point. Yeah, the crypto is truly up to the limitation of the crypto provider if it's available. Sometimes they do have maintenance time too. In fact, I think Webull does for their crypto. It's sometime in the morning hours, Eastern Standard Time, like 2 or 3 in the morning, where they shut the place down for a little. I can't remember the exact time, but yeah, they shut the place down for a little bit to do maintenance. And some other crypto providers have the same thing where they don't allow. Even though you can trade, that market is always open, right? It's always open 24/7. There are certain limitations that can come around with that. So yeah, awesome. Let's see. I want to make sure I got to all these other questions that I got offline. Is Coinbase a good app? Yes, I really enjoy Coinbase. It's what I had before. There's also BlockFi. There's Cash App. Somebody mentioned earlier. I like the ability in Coinbase to actually own the crypto that you purchase. So if you're going to get Bitcoin, you get your own wallet. And I think that's important because in Webull and Robinhood, you don't get your own wallet. You only get the investment. You only get the investment in Bitcoin. So if you want to go out and use Bitcoin or trade Bitcoin, like for example, if you want to send it for a good or a service or use it to buy something, Coinbase allows you to do that. Okay. I recommend doing pro.coinbase.com when you go to buy the Bitcoin. Really, and I got to do a video on this because it's a lot to explain, especially since I can't share my screen because I'm still new at this. But in pro.coinbase.com, they charge lower fees, and it doesn't cost you anything different. You basically sign up. You go to coinbase.com, you sign up, you create an account in Coinbase. And then with that, you can then log in at pro.coinbase.com with the same login credentials, okay? Transfer your money in, get ready to buy Bitcoin or whatever you're looking to purchase. The fee will be lower in pro.coinbase.com versus buying it in coinbase.com, okay? You buy it there, and then you transfer it into your wallet. That's how I do it. And it just saves me a lot of money by doing that. And eToro, I need to look into that one. As I mentioned earlier, I don't want to review on something I've never used, but I've been hearing a ton about eToro. I know that they're also like really heavy in advertising right now too, so they're definitely looking for some customers, I believe. So I'm going to jot that down. I need to look into eToro a little bit more. I would assume they have their own wallet, and if they don't, then I'm not a fan. But I would assume eToro seems like a legit crypto where they would have their own wallet and stuff like that. So, hey, thank you everybody for joining that are heading out. That's all good. I really appreciate you joining us here on your Friday night. I'll look into eToro and then I'll follow up on that one because that's a good one. Because one thing, I mean, honestly, one thing I need to look into is even though the fees are low on the Coinbase Pro, I want to make sure that is eToro even cheaper? Because hey, money talks, and if I got to pay less to do something, I want to pay less to do something. So let's see who wins with that one. So anyway, okay, good call, Scott. Sorry, Scott said stocks in Webull close from 8 p.m. in New York City time, Eastern Standard Time, Friday to 4 a.m. Monday. Yeah, so Saturday, Sundays, we're asleep. In fact, right now we're asleep because it's 9:53 p.m. on a Friday, which means that the market and Webull's extended hours are officially asleep until Monday. So just something to keep in mind. And if you're somebody that gets paid on a Friday and you want to start your investment strategy, just keep that in mind. Figure out okay, you're going to do an investment halfway through the day and then either trade between the post-market hours of 4 to 8, or you're going to do something where you do pop on at work or something like that if you work at that time. So Kraken's another one. I need to look into that one as well. I've heard of them. I've definitely heard of them, but again, I don't want to do a review on something I don't know what I'm talking about, because I got to bulletproof test these things, guys. I put them through a lot of pain and agony. And when I first got Webull, somebody was asking me about it, right? So I got this app, and now I'm like all into Webull. But when I first got it, I put it through the ringer. I was transferring money in, transferring money out, because I want to see how long does the thing take. Like, what I don't want is, let's say you sell a stock or something and you get some extra money, or you get a dividend that you want to transfer into your bank account and use it for bills. Like somebody was saying, they're getting $300 a month in dividends, which is amazing. So let's say you get that, instead of reinvesting those dividends, you get the $300. I want to make sure that I don't have to wait a long, long time for that money to go from Webull into my bank account. So I was testing all that, and hats off to Webull. It doesn't take long at all. Sometimes I get it the next day, or at the latest in the next 2 to 3 days. The only difference would be if it's a holiday or if it's the weekend. So if I'm trying to transfer now, I'm not going to see that till Monday, probably Tuesday. But if it's in the middle of the week, especially if I start that transfer on Monday, typically I'll see it Tuesday or Wednesday. So hats off to them. But again, I have got to put them through the ringer before I do anything. It's just important. M1 Finance has 2 trading windows too. Yep, just like Stash. That's another important piece to know. If you're somebody that wants to see an immediate trade, Stash and M1 Finance, you got to keep that in mind, because if you see a price, let's say it's $100, and you want to buy stock A at $100, and you put in your buy order for $100, but it's before that trading window. It's like hours before the trading window. Okay, you just missed the first one, you're on to the second one. If that price is having an interesting day where it's going up and down a little bit, you might get mad and say, well, why? I put it in for $100, or worse yet, I tried to sell to get $100 and they only gave me $90. It dropped $10 in share price. Whoops, that could happen. So, and a lot of people have contacted me about Stash. They're like, man, they're stealing my money because I sold this thing for $100 and they only gave me $90. What the hell? It's like, oh, it's because of the trading windows. Stash isn't being sketchy at all, and neither is M1 Finance. They're just basing it on the trading window. So averaging down. So that basically means if you, I have a video about dollar cost averaging. I got to figure out how to explain this without, I can't wait till I can figure out how to share my screen. Things will be so much better. I can actually show you what I'm talking about. So basically, if you buy one share at $100, right, and then all of a sudden the market gets weird on you, and all of a sudden the stock price is now $50 or so, or it's like $20 a share. And of course you're going to be like, oh man, like I bought one share at $100 and now it's only worth $20. This sucks. But instead of stressing out about that, if you continue to buy more shares, 1, 2, 3, at this new price of 20, the overall average cost of that particular stock that you bought will go down. Because one share at $100, well, your average cost is going to be $100. But if you buy another one and another one, as the price stays low, your overall average cost across all your shares will start to come down. And that's something that a lot of people have found success in doing, because, and myself included, because anytime the stock market crashes or something scary happens, instead, I find that as a buying opportunity, because again, as long as you really focus on your overall personal finance, you're getting yourself out of debt, you're focused on like maximizing the income that you get through side hustles, passive income, and your normal job, you can then start averaging that down and then taking advantage of the dip. And that's amazing, because at the end of the day, you'll be looking awesome. What was one share at 100 becomes maybe now you own 10 shares and the average price is now $56 or whatever that average price may be. And then at that point, once the share price reaches $56 or more, you'll be in the green. And that's what's cool. Besides Mr. Beast, who do you enjoy consuming content from? I imagine a great amount comes from experience, but I'm curious who you resonate with online. Yes, I'll give some shout outs. Mr. Beast is actually relatively new. I got to be honest with you. I haven't been following him for a long time, even though he's super famous. I actually remember his original video, and I don't remember how many subscribers he had, like 5,000 or something like that at the time, where he counted to 100,000 in one video. He literally did a video where he said, all right, I want to count to 100,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that was the video. And it went viral. And I remember seeing that, but it wasn't like, I didn't get like really intrigued to subscribe at the time. Sorry, Mr. Beast, I didn't. But now his videos are like unbelievable. But just recently I've been interested in him. But yeah, who I consume a lot of content from. Well, a lot of people in the same world that I'm in personal finance. And I'm sure you guys, especially if you follow me for personal finance, I can guarantee one of these names are going to be like, oh yeah, I definitely follow that person. They're big ones. Graham Stephan, come on. Shout out, smash the like button for Graham, right? Andre Jick, he's awesome. All these guys live in Las Vegas now. Far away from me, but it's all good. And I just love the content that they create. I found Graham a long time ago when I was still doing the fitness here on the channel. So my channel is technically older than his, but the problem is in the past I was extremely inconsistent and my content was just garbage. I'll say it was. But I found him back in those days when I had more subscribers than he did. But he was talking about real estate, and I don't know. I ended up subscribing to the guy because I'm like, man, this is really interesting content. And again, my passion is personal finance. So really, I was just really interested in what he had to say. And it's really cool to see how much he's grown over the years. Super awesome. Super awesome. Yeah, so him. For the gentleman out there, I like Alpha M. If anybody knows who that is, I think he's awesome. Athlean X, for those fitness people that enjoy the fitness. I think that Jeff Cavalier is an awesome dude. I got a core program from him. It's like $1 or $2 in the App Store. Whoa, that core program will rip you apart. It's like 8 weeks, if I recall. And you just go on the app and you hit go, and he'll show you the move that you're going to do, and you follow along with him. If you want an incredible abs workout, overall core, Jeff Cavalier will kick your butt. So I definitely consume some content from him too. I think he's awesome. So yeah, I can't think of. I mean, there's a ton. I'm not gonna lie. There's a ton. I don't know about any of you, but rest in peace, Angry Grandpa. But I really enjoyed Angry Grandpa from those days. I used to consume a ton of his content. Anybody remember Angry Grandpa? Drop a comment if you do, because that guy is awesome. He was. I mean, I get some people are like, oh, it's fake and this and that. And maybe it was. Maybe they were staging some of it, but I'll call it entertainment. They were doing an incredible job entertaining me. I was always laughing at this dude, like constantly. And then he passed away like a couple years ago. But anyway, M1 is now a place to do limit orders. It's not. Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, I wouldn't think M1 would do that. Yeah, they don't do limit orders, nor does Stash, right? And that's what I was saying earlier. If you got something like Stash or M1, that is a great beginner app. I started with Stash, and it's just a great way to start learning things about the stock market and learning about investing your money. And it breaks down all the weird stuff, And what I mean by that is, oh, go check out ticker symbol SPHD. It has a dividend yield of XYZ, and then it has an expense ratio of 0.6%. It's like, what? So if you're a beginner, it's like what do I need to know? And I think Stash does a really good job of explaining that stuff in easy to follow information. And that's what I love about them. But then there comes a time when you start learning, and then you'll find yourself, and this is kind of a cool day, you'll find yourself being like, okay, I know more than that. I'm like, I'm above that now. I need something different. I'm tired of the trading windows. I want to do a limit order. I want to try new things. And that's the day that you're going to graduate to something like a Robinhood or a Webull. So that's how I see it. It's almost like it's kind of weird. It's like almost like school, right? You start here, and then you graduate to the next level, and then you graduate to the next level. But there's nothing wrong with that, And I wouldn't suggest even moving your money. I would leave your money in there, because what's the point? Because sometimes they also charge you for doing that. A lot of people keep asking, can I move my money from Robinhood to Webull or to this or that? All of this, except for Stash, I get the $1 a month can be annoying, but both of those other two are free. Hell with it. I'll just leave it in there. I don't want to spend up to $75 to transfer into this other one. So that's just me. BlockFi. BlockFi is a company I'm currently looking into, actually. Haven't looked into eToro yet. Like I said, I will look into that for you. Sketch Hunter, I will look into eToro for you because I have been seeing that one a lot. BlockFi, I'm currently looking into because I believe the cool thing about them, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still digging into this one. And if you, JF, if you weren't on earlier, I don't review something until I fully put it through the ringer. So I think they allow you to then put that crypto up for earning interest, right? You can earn interest on that. And if that's the case, I think that's really interesting. Now, you combine that with what are the fees that they're charging? Are there fees on par or less than Coinbase? And if so, that could be a good opportunity. Unless you're looking at the loan, they do offer loans and stuff like that. I don't know if you're asking about that kind of stuff, but yeah, from a crypto perspective, they do seem very interesting. So I'll have some more content on that coming up very, very soon. So that'll be worth checking out, especially if the fees are lower. Because at the end of the day, money talks. You know. See what else we got here. Okay, somebody's asking about FBCJ. FBCJ, that's a Fidelity stock, isn't it? Let me look it up quick. I don't own that one, but let me take a look at it. Okay, we got an ETF here, Fidelity Blue Chip. Expense ratio, it's not bad. The expense ratio is a 0.59%, which tells me that it's a little bit more of an active managed ETF. Again, my rule of thumb when it comes down to these things, I like to go below 0.75%. If you have an expense ratio that's like a 1% or 0.8, just be careful because to me it's like, what's the payoff for that? Let's see what they hold in this one. Obviously some blue chips, but I kind of want to see. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, this is something I'd be interested in. I mean, again, I don't. Not a financial advisor. Got to keep saying that. Do your own research. But these have some things that I definitely have a lot of interest in for me personally. Speaking on my own behalf, I love Apple. If you guys are a follower of the channel, I mean, Amazon's badass. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, they own all the kind of things that I'm interested in. They got a little bit of Tesla in there too. They got 3.2% of Tesla holdings. They even own Uber. We're talking about side hustles, right? There's some Uber for us. So yeah, I mean, I think this is I'm just doing a quick look, so I got to do a little bit more research just to see. But it seems like, and at only $30 a share, that is an interesting one. Based on that flow, one thing I want to look at is their dividend payout. So hold on a minute, FBCJ. Because obviously, because of the mix, they're going to pay at different intervals because a lot of those guys in there, a lot of those stocks in there pay on a quarterly basis. It does not. It's not showing a dividend history. I see a declaration date of 3/18, record date, and a payment date of 3/24 is $0. I don't know, but the holdings are on point. But I'll have to do some more research on it. But at first glance, it seems interesting. Let's see. My comments got kind of messed up here. Sorry about that. Pros and cons of Webull. I have a whole video to that. That's a big question. It's a good question. It's a big one though, because there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. I love the freeness of Webull. It's free to start. It's zero minimum deposit. That's awesome. It allows you that freedom. The con is fractional shares. I'm going to say that until I'm blue in the face. Until they get fractional shares and dividend reinvestment program, that's the one thing that they need to get their act together on. And once they do, I think Webull has an interesting future ahead of them. By the way, a lot of people were asking me, there's a lot of comments about Webull from the standpoint of they are a Chinese company. And there's a lot of points about what if they go on a business. And there was a lot of, by the way, I gotta fill up. I actually have another Stella sitting here. So we're gonna fill up for this 25,000 subscriber celebration. I'm going to fill back up. But there's a lot of questions about what happens if they go out of business. What happens if Robinhood goes out of business? Well, they technically are. I mean, you are protected by the SIPC in the United States, and that protects you up to a certain dollar figure of your investments. So it's not like they can just say, well, we're going out of business, we're going to take all your money in your portfolio and basically screw you over. It's not necessarily going to work like that. There's a little bit more to it than that. You are protected by that, just like the bank, FDIC insured, right? So on the investment side, it's SIPC, and they'll invest in that. It's all good. It's great. Another thing that people keep asking is, what about Social Security numbers? Why, when I sign up to Stash? Hold on, that's way too much film. I'm sorry. Hold on. That was terrible. Why do I have to put in my Social Security number in these brokerage apps? Well, look. In the law of the world, how this works, you have got to report your tax earnings and things like that. So if you invest in dividends, for example, they have to report that you earn dividends when you file your taxes. That's just how it has to be. They also, you have your P&L, your profit and your loss and all that kind of stuff, your capital gains of your portfolio. So they're not asking for your Social Security number to scam you or something like that. As long as you're signing up with a reputable brokerage, which, we talk about a lot of them on this channel, they're going to ask you that question. It's going to sound kind of strange. You're probably going to be wondering, why are you asking me for this data and this information? But it's just to make sure that they are abiding by their laws of having to report that to the U.S. government every year, or whatever country you live in. If there's any tax laws and stuff like that, whatever if you have a Social Security number or whatever your country has, sometimes they ask for that private data because they have to. They just have to. And then in Webull, the thing, and I was a little bit jacked up about this one, they make you scan in your driver's license. So for you guys that have Webull, you probably went through this and you're like, oh God, at least I was. I'm like, okay. But I've come to understand, and by the way, I have connections over there. So I reach out to them when there's certain questions and I ask about that a little bit more. I'm like, what truly is the reason for that? I get the Social Security number. What's the reason for that? And they really wanted to make sure that, based on some past practices with things that they saw in brokerages, they wanted to make sure that you, the consumer, were protected from like identity theft or basically trying to open up fake accounts. We talked earlier about bots here on YouTube that pretend like they're me and they'll reply to some of you, and it drives me up a freaking wall. But that's why they did that. They wanted to make sure that people weren't getting screwed over in doing something that wouldn't be right. Wouldn't be right for, all of a sudden that, in a sense, that's identity theft, and that's not cool at all at the end of the day. Let's see here. What else we got going on here? I want to make sure I answered all these questions. Do any of you have a YouTube channel, by the way? I'd be interested to know if any of you are like, are you on the channel? Are you on the platform here? To be part of the communities, which if you are, thank you. I appreciate that. Are any of you actually out there putting up content? I'd be interested to know, and feel free to drop your name in there. We'll get some shout outs. If you're growing, heck, if you're even higher than I am, if you're at like 40, 50, 100, 2 million subscribers. If I got anybody in here that has 1 million subscribers, you got to drop your name down here because I want to recognize you for that. That's a huge achievement. Even 100,000 subscribers. I just want to make sure that we get some recognition out there. But yeah, if you have it, feel free to drop it down in the comments and we'll give you a shout out for your growing channel. I think that's important. Oh, okay. So Scott's talking about option trading. I'm going to be transparent. I don't do a lot of option trading. I don't do any option trading. I know a lot of you have been asking about it, like in the comments in general, my channel and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't yet. I might, right? We'll see in the future, but right now I don't. And so, but I do agree with you from what I've heard from the people that I talk to and the people I work with. Webull has a little bit of a strange options trading. A lot of people use Robinhood for the options just because it's easy to use. And despite all the stuff that happened back in January and February with the GameStop stuff, at the end of the day, Robinhood's super freaking easy to use, both in stock market trades as well as option trading. Shout out Brooklyn Jedi. Brooklyn Jedi. Sorry, I can't see anything. I appreciate that super chat so much, and thank you. And I wish you the best in your goals as well. Hopefully, get the chance to live that sweet life. That's what we deserve, right? And yeah, Social Security number needs to be provided for taxes for the 1099 div. And and so that's an important one. And make sure you're filing your taxes at the end of the year. No matter what you do, just wait for it. Your brokerage will send you that 1099 at the end of the year, and it's important to make sure that you file your taxes appropriately. So, one thing I have on a future video coming up, just a sneak preview here, okay? Another one, because I talked about my future goal, and that's long term, when I want to like pay off people's debts and change their lives and stuff like that. That's once I hit like big league. And right here, I'm gonna remember all of you because I'm gonna download this live chat for the future so I can remember all of you guys. But for now, for short term, I want to do a video on investing versus paying off debt, and investing versus paying off mortgage debt too. A few of you have been giving me a super hard time, and I get it, about why are you so focused on paying off your mortgage early? Why don't you just focus on taking that extra money and instead of slamming the mortgage, put it toward investments? I totally get that. And it's a very valid point, because based on how you calculate that, and even in debt in general, if you're trying to pay off a car debt or something like that, based on that, you could actually say, well, it technically makes more sense to invest. Because if I spend extra money, if I have an extra $1,000, if I throw that toward the debt that I'm trying to pay off versus putting that $1,000 into the stock market today in a very good growth stock or growth ETF or something like that, it could actually end up paying off more money in the long term versus just paying down debt. And I get that. The thing is, and I mentioned it earlier on the book that I'm listening to on Audible here, which is kind of the start of the FIRE movement. I really don't like balls and chains. I don't like being trapped down to debt. And the mortgage kills me, because what we went through last year in 2020 was something I hope we never have to deal with again. But even if the scariness of layoffs and stuff like that, man, that's some scary ass stuff, right? There are so many friends I have that got laid off, and they have all this family stuff. They have all this money they're dealing with, and boom, just like that, you might get a severance package, but you're laid off. Shit, what do I do? Do I go out and find another? And then you try to find another job, but what if it pays you less? Or what if you can't find something that's comparable to your old job? I don't like that. I would rather, if that's going to happen, and all of a sudden all my money goes away tomorrow and my income stops, or it drastically reduces. Let's say my income gets cut in half by 50% starting tomorrow. I want to be able to be like, oh, well, it's all good, because I don't have to worry about paying a mortgage payment or a rent payment or anything like that. I want to own my own stuff. And then all I have to do is figure out enough to pay for my property taxes and the stuff that is a revolving, the electric bill and all that crap. But that's enough. Like I could cut my income in half, go freaking I could actually get a real job, like being like a Domino's delivery driver or working at a Target or something, and have enough just to fill the gap. That to me is freedom. And that's why I'm focused on paying off my mortgage. So I want to pay it off early. So I'm slamming that down. And once that's paid off, you can guarantee I'm going to be slamming the investment portfolio, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. But until that time, I want to get this mortgage out of the way. And so I'm going to do a video on that, on how I calculated how it's actually better for me and what it might mean for you when it comes down to calculating, is it better to invest or pay off debt? So more to come on that. Okay, sorry. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sawyer. Welcome to the Sweet Lifer family. I'm glad you subscribed, as well as Amanda. Thank you so much. First ever live stream. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm sorry for the speaker. I use a microphone. In case you guys are interested, I'll just give these guys. Here's actually what I use in case any of you are YouTubers. This is actually what I record on, if you're ever wondering. This is a very old camera, by the way. This is a Canon T6i. Very old. I've had it for quite a few years. And this microphone, Shure microphone, this is a very cool, picks up pretty well. But that's what I use. So this here in the live stream is a very rogue iMac on-screen camera, as well as the audio. I can guarantee the audio sounds like garbage, because compared to something like that, this has got to sound like crap. I will figure that out. I need to get probably a USB mic so that way you can hear me a lot better. And it will get better, I promise. And then I got this thing where I can share my screen as well. So what I want to do actually is on the next live stream, and I got to figure out when to schedule it. But what I want to do is actually take you through the track your dividends. I keep talking about them, and of course they're not sponsored me. I don't really care about that. I just think they're an awesome resource because they're free. So you hop over there and then you update your portfolio. And I actually want to take you through a live version of me updating that. And I was kind of hoping to do that tonight, but I couldn't because I can't figure this out. But once I get that figured out, what I'll do is share that on the screen. So that way you see me plus that, and we can walk through exactly how I update that, as well as give you guys an update on where the stock portfolios are sitting and kind of how my future trend of the dividends are coming, because that is kind of a big part of our channel here, right? We talk a lot about how to build that passive wealth with dividends. Hey, that's good. Shout out to Apple for the sound quality. I guess it doesn't sound that bad according to the comments here. So yeah, that's good. Anyway, yeah. So I think, you know what? It's getting late, guys, and I can't believe we're on 2 hours. This is for sure my longest video I've ever had here on YouTube. And I, by the way, what I wanted to say is I wanted to say that I will probably leave this up for only like a day or so. I don't know. I got to see what it does. I've never left. First of all, first live stream. I don't know what happens after this. I think it publishes to YouTube and then it just sits on there for other people to watch. So we'll probably leave it up there for a little bit, but I probably won't end up deleting this video. I do want to eventually make my live streams like a more private like setting where, hey, hop on for the live stream. We're going to review something and it's only live in the moment. It's not going to be forever. Now that may change. I'm going to throw the disclaimer that it may change, but that's kind of my thought process right now, just to make it kind of more cool, because it's a little bit more of a casual conversation. It's not me doing a sit down actual video. It's just a cool chat, and we catch up and talk about cool things. So I think I'm going to hop off, guys. I can't thank you enough, seriously, for everything that that you've done. I mean, you know, I owe all my gratitude to you guys. So thank you so much. And my goal and my vision and my hope is to continue to provide you massive value so you can live your ultimate sweet life and look back someday as you sit down as a millionaire and be like, I remember that live stream. It was badass. Have an awesome night, guys. Yes, I will tweet and I will post when my next live stream is. I will do that for you. Thank you guys all. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.